Run it.
All right. Another week, another Centre Circle podcast. Episode 78. I checked with Keith before we recorded. I'm not going to act like I knew. This week, you got the usual gang, myself, Adrian and Keith. How you doing, boys?
Not bad.
I'm good, man. Can't complain.
And friend of the pod, Ash is back. How you doing, bro?
Got a lot to say. Proper.
Fair enough. Well, look, let's get straight into it. Almost every game in the Premier League this weekend has something to talk about. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Chelsea's draw at home to Arsenal. Manchester United continue their post-Ten Hag form against Leicester. Liverpool keep the points coming against Aston Villa. Man Salah again. Brighton pull off, well, not so much of a shock to be honest, the way they're playing, but condemn City to their fourth loss in a row. Spurs lose at home to give Ipswich their first
3 points.
their first Premiership win. Brentford and Bournemouth slug out another goal fest. Brentford are the entertainers, even though I don't think Thomas Frank is enjoying their defending at the moment. Whilst Forest kind of suffered the curse of the commentators as we lauded them last week, and then they went and lost at home to Fulham 1-3. To Newcastle 1-3. Then we're going to talk about Fulham and they're continuing for one of Marco Silva and how Arsenal could do with Emil Smith-Rowe right now. Everton and West Ham ball draw suits them perfectly the way they're playing at the moment. And then we'll talk about Wolves as well. All right. Chelsea v Arsenal. Kind of being dubbed as, a must-win for Arsenal. Can't be 10 points behind Liverpool. Man City lost yesterday. It's a window of opportunity. Blah, blah, blah. For Chelsea as well, we're on the same points. Their ascendancy, they're going in the right direction. All that good stuff. So anyway, 1-1 draw. Adrian, talk to me.
Watched the game, and for me, it just lacked intensity. Like there was no intent to go on and win. Like we was casually going along. I think allowing Odegaard to kind of find a rhythm, but we weren't knocking the door hard enough. Yeah, Kai scored, but it was offside, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Again, we talk about the Chelsea defence and goalkeeper.
I sent Keith a text that said, yeah, Levi Cole. I see what you're saying now.
But to be fair, for what, like, I'm against Levi. Like I'm not his biggest fan, but that time that was the entire defense. That wasn't just him, because that line was very high.
No, but there were just.
But there's other things in the game.
The first half,
100%.
And I almost rang it and said,
yeah, 100%. I agree with you. But for the goal, I'm not calling.
No.
Yeah, but the goalkeeper definitely, because I don't know what he was doing anyway. And then that was it. It wasn't really a team performance. There were some individual performances that stood out for me. So Cucurella was one. I thought he done a very good job against Saka. I think Partey and Caicedo, that was like the battle of DMs.
Yeah.
Individual performances was really good from them. Obviously, Odegaard come back and got an assist, so he justified what we missed, but I think he hasn't got up to speed. And then the only other person that kind of impressed me, or that I liked, should I say, was when Marino came on. There was little things where he was trying to get forward all the time, and he was turning, so like drop a shoulder or shimmy, and turn and play as forward.
He
as
used the ball
possible.
well. That's how I said in my group. I said he used the ball well. There were times when he was under pressure. He could have rushed something. He took a second to turn,
or he
change
could have made it
direction.
safe.
He
didn't do that.
I think Neto as well.
Yeah,
Neto had a decent game.
We'll talk about Arsenal players.
Yeah. No,
I started with Cucurella.
I did. And Neto did. I think it was interesting. So Neto did have a good game, but again, we always say it. Like Chelsea's got the mixture of forward players. If one's not performing or two, they got one. And to be fair, I was surprised that Madueke came off, because I thought he was doing okay. He was asking, he was probing. I'm not saying he was excellent, but he was probing.
You know what Madueke was having? He was having a Martinelli performance. And what I mean by that was, he was doing his job off the ball, but on the ball, I don't think, I don't think it was really giving us that many problems. He should have scored though. He had a chance early on. But he was having a bit of a Martinelli where technically off the ball very well, you're keeping the shape, you're doing your job. With the ball, you're not giving me anything.
He put a couple quick crosses though.
He wasn't really committing, Timber. I think Timber's difficult to get past, but at
Mm.
no point was even like looking to be a threat
Mm.
past him. So the thing with Noni, and I like him a lot, but there's times where you see him, it's like, yeah, today's not going to be the day.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can think that like after 20 minutes, you kind of know
Yeah.
what's going
But
to
when
happen.
it's his day, long for the
Yeah,
left back.
yeah. Because he just didn't actually really engage Timber the way he wanted to. And then when Neto went on that side, he just went. Like, and that's the thing with Neto. He just goes, he goes.
Mm.
And when he's fit, he is quite like, he's a bit of a Duracell bunny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think he would be the other person I would have spoken about. I think he did well. There's just a real issue with us in terms of like the balance, in terms of we have a good defense, but we're almost leading with that rather than trying to win games a bit too much. And I
Yeah.
think how I look at it is we're now at a stage where if we want to do anything this season, we need to be a lot more proactive
Yeah,
and a lot more on the
100%.
front foot and with a lot more kind of intent to move things forward. Now, I see a good team with a good structure that's doing lots of great stuff that looks great from a coaching perspective, but you need to be able to move it forward. You need to have like some level of like add a bit more jeopardy into the game because you'll win more games than you will do than just kind of like hoping that we nick one and then we see it out.
Yeah, and to your point, I think I said it on the pod a few episodes ago. You know, we've got depth in strength in depth in defence, and probably in that kind of holding midfield role. You know, between Partey, Mourinho, all these guys. But everywhere else, it's just way too shallow. The quality is way too shallow, and we've invested a lot in those areas. So yes, Timber can be out, Ben White can be out. And I'm not saying the defence is as good, but you can put out a defence that you can still expect to keep a clean sheet against 98% of the league. I think, to your point, going forward, it's not the same. And today is the kind of game where we've got used to playing okay. That Havertz quick free kick one goes in. The one at the end goes in. Arsenal have licked a 2-1, go home. Been doing that quite a bit, but that can only last for so long.
I think one of the other issues that I'm having as well is the use of the squad. Like, Trossard hasn't really performed now for how many games? Like, he's been okay, don't get me wrong. Just do something different. Throw on E078. Throw on Jesus. Like,
Throw on Sterling.
Well, could Sterling play today?
Oh, no, he can't. He's on loan.
So then, but I'm saying, but don't throw on Jesus
I'm
because
not-
Saka's injured. Throw on Jesus.
I'm not
Like,
going to lie, when Jesus came on.
Yeah, he looks scary. But to that point, I think one of the biggest things, and I'm not here to criticize, and it's not one of those, but the in-game management of Arteta this season has let him down.
yeah, 100%.
100%.
Insert Shannon Sharp meme.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because there's too many times where even in today's game we were up, you've now waited for them to make a change. They've equalised, and now you've thought, let me then change it up.
Oh,
whereas
my gosh.
Whereas if you made a better change further on, we would have been 1-0 up, and then we
maybe.
keep
You
moving
know
things
what?
up.
I thought at the time, then I thought, John, be fair. Because he might have been planning to do that sub anyway. Right? He might have been planning to do those subs anyway, but I thought exactly the same thing and say, okay, because we had scored not too long ago. So he's probably thinking, okay, I'm not going to change it. Let's settle. Then they scored. So I thought, let me be fair. Maybe those changes were planned anyway, but it was like, but I agree with you. I've had an issue with in-game management for some time. And I'm watching games yesterday and you're seeing subs come on and, you know, change games. People are making subs to affect games. And I'm just like, I think I read the group. I'll tell you, that's how you manage the game. So I have said that before. I think one of the things that he will develop or change over time is definitely his in-game management.
And just
Definitely.
one more point on that, because this has been a historical issue, and this is actually one of the things that he said I didn't like about him when things weren't as good as they are now. In the sense of he waited too long. It was always, I'm going to react to something 70+, and you always knew what the subs were likely to kind of be. I know this person's going to come on at this time, and then this is going to happen. And even times where he didn't actually manage our players well. So he was playing Saka for 90 minutes when we were like all 2-3-0 up, take him off. And then towards the end of the league season, when we were leading, so 2 seasons ago, he got burnt out and he wasn't the same player because he was shattered because we kind of flogged him. So it's not just a case of seeing it now because we're down. Even when we were up, the squad management wasn't good enough for us to sustain our title challenges the way that it should have been done.
No, I fully agree. I think, go on, Keith, how was your view of it as a neutral? Relative neutral.
Yeah, like the game as a whole wasn't great. It's like Adrian said, it was like individual moments rather than team performances. It's kind of alluding to what you guys already said. I don't want to say you guys have regressed, but that's what it feels like a little bit. Like 2 seasons ago, this Arsenal was free-flowing. You knew a goal was coming from somewhere, where now it just looks a little bit mundane.
Like a machine.
Predictable.
Yeah, and it's like...
Who else is like that?
Man City, maybe.
Mm.
No, but yeah, it just feels like the excitement that you had in your team
Mm.
to push City is just gone, and it's like right, we've tried the excitement bit, didn't work. I'm thinking like this is
With better energy on
Arteta
that.
thinking.
Mm.
Let me see if I can lock up shop a little bit and see how it
I
works
think we
that
were
way.
always going this way. I think the excitement bit came from what we didn't have. The games were a
He
lot
had to
looser
play
than
that
he
way.
would like it.
Yeah.
I think he was always marching this way. Because look, we've ended up in the same place he left City. 4 centre-backs sometimes, played at the back. You know, if you look at how, you will probably see it more and more in the investment, the kind of players we've bought, Calafiori, Marino.
Yeah.
Bruv, I think we're always heading this way. And I never really thought about it, but I think I think City, because of the KDBs, the Mahrez, those kind of guys, you know, they would score amazing goals, you know, and that would be fantastic. But if we think about the cycle they're in now, it is quite robotic. You know, it's quite a bit of a machine. And even though Doku and Savino there, it's not the same, right? It's not the same range and level of goals and sort of excitement, to your point. So I think that's the direction we're heading. So it's interesting you say that. A couple of other things that no one's touched on yet, but 2 things. One, personally, I think it was Chelsea's game for the taking, only because they've created 2 chances that really should be in the back of the net.
Yeah,
honestly,
Gusto
so, you know,
one.
Gusto one, who had a header early-ish on. I think it was Madueke.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Yeah.
right? So that's 2. There's other 2 chances where, for some reason, every other game this season, Cole Palmer's touch is way better, and he's hitting a shot on target. So there was definitely moments where I'm like, as the home team, you've created opportunities, and if I was a betting man, I would have put money on those goals to get in. So when I look at it across the whole game, yeah, definitely a point was probably a little bit more positive. If I'm Maresca, I'm coming in half time. I'm really disappointed that you know, we didn't score 2 of those, if not 3. And then there's 2 chances where a better quality and you have a chance, whether he scores it or not.
Yeah.
But you have a chance in the penalty area and you're expecting him to. Then he wastes 2 free kicks.
Yeah.
Which again you expect him to get on target. So, you know,
I think to that point though, we still need to understand where Chelsea are in their cycle.
Yeah.
So their cycle is that they're still looking at the top teams and they've struggled in those games.
Mm.
They haven't really showed
Dominated.
up. Like, yeah,
No.
they haven't.
No.
And like even some of their better players, they haven't really, like Jackson has been a threat this season. He didn't do much today.
Cole
Palmer just wasn't off it today. Again, we spoke about Noni. Noni seemed like he wasn't there. It was
But in the
only
early parts of the game, Palmer was picking up good spaces though. They had to
Yeah.
sort that out quickly.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
first 10, 15 minutes, that pass in behind Partey was finding him.
Yeah.
But to your right, maybe he didn't do much of it
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
And I think what we have to then realize is, as much as they could have won that game, a point for them is good considering like what happened in the United game.
Yeah,
They came
yeah.
back into that, etc. That's where they're at, and they're looking for that top 4 push. I think why we're looking from an Arsenal perspective is because we realised what the stakes were in terms of what that gap could be.
Yeah.
I remember like 4 weeks ago when I first came here at the international break, that gap was 1 point.
Yeah.
Now it's extended very, very quickly. And that's what the league's doing to you right now, especially with the likes of like City aren't performing where they should be.
Yeah.
But there is one team that is performing there as well. The one thing I would say though is quickly on Arteta is, you spoke about where we're going in terms of direction of travel. Last summer, we had a real clear chance to make a statement, either wide left or through or as a 9.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll speak about him later on. There's a player in this league who I've been banging on about for ages that we should have signed. And if he comes, it's a difference maker. You can have everything that you want in here. He's a difference maker. And if you commit to that signing, I think it's a very different season for us.
Looking at the fixtures,
I think I know who it is.
I'm really annoyed that I don't. All right. And the last one on this game. Do you remember when it was like every other manager was like an ex-Man United? Yeah. Is Maresca almost going the same way in terms of his attack is deadly, right? On any day, that Chelsea attack, whichever one he picks, can trouble every team in this league. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
But his defense is a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
If we fast forward 2 seasons, are we basically just going to have 3 versions of the same thing? Because he wouldn't have the money to spend that we've had, but he's got younger players, etc. I think we're going to end up. I think it's going to be a little bit different, but he's on the same path.
And I say that just based on his time at Leicester. Like at Leicester in the Championship, I know it's different league.
But
He was just like ball out.
Yeah.
And like they had a wobbly spell like just maybe around February, March last year, when they didn't pick up as many points, but they were so far ahead, it didn't really matter, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if he did go that way. I'm not saying he won't, but based on last season and what he's doing so far this year, if he did go that way, I'd be very surprised.
I don't think he's going to go that way. What I think he is mindful of is just how bad some of his defensive options are. Sanchez is a terrible goalkeeper in terms of what they want to do. And then I think Fofana is just coming back from some serious injuries. Levi Colwill has his limits. I think their fullbacks are good, but I think those three, like the goalkeeper and the two centre-backs, if they invest well there, that will be their base to move forward. They got good fullbacks.
But I got to say something though. What are the other goalkeepers saying? Because if they ain't not even pushing Sanchez out of position,
you said
But Petrovic was playing last year. I don't know what happened, but he seemed like he was Poch's guy.
Didn't he go somewhere else? Petrovic
was still there.
All I know, if the goalkeepers are not moving Sanchez out of number one spot, there's something wrong with them.
Well, you see it in Arsenal's goal today, right? He did that first. So Martinelli's chance, I think was it first half?
Yeah.
First half, where he's taken a great touch, to be fair to him. And then he's done this half. It wasn't hard and high. It wasn't hard and low. It was kind of
mid.
And I looked, I was like, right, if you'd rolled that there post, you score.
Yeah.
But obviously from there, you're not expecting that space to be there. So when he's tapped for his goal, Sanchez is at the same place. And he's like, all right, watch.
Someone might have said that to him, you know? One thing about him is his near post is always available.
Yeah.
So,
it's weird.
I think all keepers near post is available to
Not like that.
Not like Sanchez.
To a degree. I'm saying to a degree because
like
they're anticipating the cutback or whatever, but it is what it is.
Because even, what's his name? Ariza Balaga, yesterday, he got a bit of stick from the commentator. We'll come onto his game. But I think he covered his near post nicely. And when he goes through the legs of keepers, I really blame them because they have to take that stance to those points. So
it's not power league, innit? You know?
It's
not power league.
So Sanchez, you're right. I think Gusto's played well for Maresca.
I think there's some limits in him though.
Yeah, I agree.
I've enjoyed Gusto in terms of his performances so far, but now.
But final third execution.
It's a bit
some
rash.
Ball strike. He's not that.
Like
that
the game against United, it was the same thing. He was getting in great positions. And he's rushing it.
They even said if Reece James was in that position, knowing what he could be like. So I think, and that's why I think they've got good fullbacks, because if you think Cucurella, James, and Gusto is free to work with, and remember they can kind of invert and play on either side, that's a very strong base, even if they haven't quite got maybe like the perfect.
Yeah, I think Maresca wants a certain level of work ethic. I think if James can get to anywhere near close to that, I think Gusto's in trouble because we know James can shoot, he can finish.
Yeah. On their defense, I think they need like an experienced free transfer. You know, like Silva when he came in. Like, not that it would happen, but let's say Van Dijk didn't sign at Liverpool and he was going on a free transfer. I think that player profile would be perfect for Chelsea going forward. I think that's what they kind of need.
I agree. I agree. Got to go and get. There's rumours that Real Madrid want. What's his name? The guy who left City and went to Saudi way too early.
Laporte.
Yeah, apparently Real Madrid are looking because
that'd be
Militao did his ACL yesterday.
And meniscus.
And meniscus.
There's him. ACL and meniscus.
In the other knee, just came up from ACL in one knee. You know, it's the other knee that's got this. So someone like that, I wouldn't be surprised if. But again, his experience would cost a lot of money. And Chelsea, they're leading with a spreadsheet a little bit now, right? So they don't feel the threat. But you're right, they do need that. I think they do need it. He's a left-footed as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good. I think he's good, man. He won a Euros as well. So.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Manchester United, back at the Theatre of Dreams. They beat Leicester 3-0. Bruno Fernandes, Christensen own goal, and a sulkily celebrated goal from Alejandro Garnacho. Guys, since Ten Hag left, they haven't lost, 4 games, no losses. I mean, I've heard of new manager bounce, but...
There was a game, was it Villa when they played Villa and him and Rude were arguing on the touchline? Rude had his vision. I've got my vision.
Rude was thinking, I've seen your training sessions, bro. I know what I would do.
To caveat that, it has been 4 games at home. They played Leicester twice. I think they put 8 past them. They played PAOK. Their first win in
Europe in a year,
which is crazy. And then there was the Chelsea game, which, as much as they played all right in, they could easily have gone the other way. There was a better execution from what we just spoke about as well. So I think you can look at it as a good body of work for Rude, but if you do press a little bit deeper, you see there's some real wobbles there. Still.
True, but I think to that point, though, for me, that's why it's so stark. Because for the last, pick a period of 10 hugs, 6 months, a year, 18 months, there's those things have always been there, right? He decimated the home record there.
Yeah.
He decimated the European record. 2 worst starts in history consecutively. Smashed the record.
Yeah.
So even a small sample size of 4 games is massive compared to what he was doing.
Fair.
That's, you know what I mean? It's just...
And
it's
under
just
Ten Hag, if he had lost any of those games, you wouldn't be surprised. Like even the Leicester games. So I think that's where you got to... No, but I'm not even saying that to... Yeah, like...
I'm
laughing.
absolutely right.
I'm laughing
Absolutely right.
because it's ridiculously correct.
Yeah.
So
yeah, big him up, man. Like...
Because that was the whole thing about him. He would always pull a performance out. He done it against you. He even done it against us the first time he played.
Did they get City in the final?
City beat Chelsea. Like, he can always pull that performance out, but then it was always be followed up by something that was just inept.
Yeah.
So like you said, that is a good run of games, but he still wouldn't have got what Rude got out of it. So,
and you know the worst
fair
thing? I think
play.
Rude didn't even do nothing spectacular.
Yeah.
He just said, you know what, guys? This is Old Trafford, Theatre of Dreams. Let's give the fans what they want. A little motivational pep talk, high fives, go out and play. This is the formation.
Team selection helps.
Because it's only 4, he couldn't really sink his teeth into the team and real get some tactical kind of input and patterns of play going. But he said, this is how you play the 4-2-3-1 and this is where you need to be. You could do that in
You know what I thought was interesting though? The fact that he went with Højlund for all 4 of the games. Like that was very kind of telling, considering like obviously Xerxes, Countryman. It could easily have been like, oh, I'll kind of do that. But he said, no, I want that base.
And I'm pretty sure...
I mean, we see Xerxes, he's on anyway. But still,
he's not
like...
very good.
And I'm pretty sure he started Ahmad every game as well.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
He didn't,
So Ahmad came in based off what he did in the week. So his first start was what he did in the week in Europe. And obviously he balled out. And then he's giving him a second one as well.
He got an assist today, didn't he?
Yeah. So, but, if I'm Rudy, being a manager, right?
Yeah.
If I'm acting like this is my full-time job. I don't care if my man's coming in 3 weeks, 4 games. Every day, we're setting up now, like how I would when I was, where was it, PSV final? Yeah, one of those. That's how I'll do it. But you're right, it's a short period of time, but,
And there was like murmurs, weren't there, that he's a bit unhappy that they went and looked at Amron and never gave him a chance to go for the job. That was a rumour and he may not stay on as a result. I'm not saying it's true.
Yeah, no, it's true, but they would have had conversations. Even when he came in as one of Ten Hag's coaching staff, there must have been a conversation about the path. And I guess to the point after this match. By the way, did anyone see this game?
No.
I just saw a couple of the
Yeah, same. Just saw a couple of highlights. I guess what everyone is looking at now is because Amorim's not bringing all of his stuff. There was some negotiations. Some people aren't coming. So is Rude gonna
be part of it?
Gonna be part of it?
I don't think he should be.
Why?
Because you can see he's quite a big character there at the minute. And I think with institutions like Man United, especially Man United, who always kind of like Fergie era, blah, blah, blah. I said it when Klopp came in and everyone's talking about Liverpool boot room and Shankly and Paisley. Nah, that happened years ago. I think Amorim needs to come in and be like, bun Fergie, because last 10 years, nothing's worked. Everyone's going, we'll go back to the Man United way. There is no Man United way. There was a Fergie way. There's nothing now.
Way of playing or winning mentality?
Culture.
Just the culture, because everyone's like, it's Man United.
I don't agree.
No, because if you guys, everyone's saying, it's Man United. Well, it wasn't really Man United. It was Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson bred a culture.
No, it's one and the same. 2 things can be true. You gave it to Man United.
But if everyone says, all right, we've got to get back to the Fergie way, you're never going to move forward. You're always going to have that cloud. So I think he needs to come in, and I know it's a bit unfair to Rude, but he's too close to what that Fergie era was. And I think you've got to draw the line and let Amorim have a clean slate.
1 second. The only thing I disagree on is, so I think you can separate 2 things here. So I think going back to winning mentality, 100%, right? Whether we like it or not, it's Man United. Yeah, they were dead for 20 years, but 20 years before that, they had a winning team. They were good. They were dead for a bit. Fergie came. 20 years is a long time. It's
Long
not.
time.
That's a generation. So the way you do it, put that in the bin. That worked then. Dashing off Paul into them, that worked then. It's a different game. But getting back to winning mentality, I think is something that he should aspire to. And I think, you know what? If it was other people, I would agree with you. But the only reason I would say, I'm not saying keep him, but I wouldn't be quick to bin him, is that it's less about Rude being like an ex-Man United man. It's more that he has...
Transition.
Yeah, so he's almost got... I think he might have a good mix of knowing what the club is about and who's there and all of that, but he's managed in this era very, very recently. And I'm sure he won a cup. Or,
he won a cup with PSV.
Yeah, won a cup with PSV. And he's not a fully fledged manager in his own right. Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest. I mean, whether you like it or not, ETH had won a league. He'd worked at Bayern, all that stuff. My man's done 2 leagues back to back now, I want to say. Won a couple of cups.
Yeah, he's won 5 trophies.
Yeah, 5 trophies. So I just, with as much information as we've got, I just think Rude might not be the typical. It's not like having Ryan Giggs in your backroom staff because he's Ryan Giggs or Paul Scholes. He's actually put his neck in the line, gone into a club recently, done the job, actually very okay at it. So it might do Amorim well. But again, to your point, I wouldn't be surprised if he came and said, nah. It's just because where they said not everyone's coming, I thought, is there going to be a space for him to work together? And it could help Amorim as well. It could.
I think there's something it could do to help him. I'm just worried about, to Keith's point, he obviously has clear aspirations to coach and to be that manager. I remember, I think even he came in, everyone knew that Ten Hag was on rocks. Like he was on tenterhooks from
on the ropes,
on the ropes from minute one. So yeah, I think Amorim's first decision might be that. That might be one of the first clear decisions, and I think that might be very telling in terms of what the tenure looks like. Because if he does go in, he's like, "Yeah, cool, you're gone." It's very much like I'm here to like not to play.
I remember we dissed David Moyes when he came and cleared decks.
Yeah,
everyone dissed him.
Yeah,
right.
But I think that's different. Because
Fergie was just there.
Yeah, like they've just won the league. I think it's very hard to come in and rip up everything when you've just won the league. Especially from where Moyes came from, where
I agree. You should have kept 1 or 2 of them guys. I agree.
Where Amorim now is kind of like, I don't want to say a free hit, but they spend big on him. Yeah. They've given it like they paid 10 million to get him out of his contract. Yeah. So he's like, right, they showed faith in me now. I want this to be my thing.
Yeah. I'm not saying this to force it. I'm saying if I'm Amorim, I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand. I'd have a conversation with Rude. I will see
where he's at and what he wants to do and how he wants to be involved.
You're right. The club should say to him, you got to take Rude. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But Amorim shouldn't dismiss it out of hand.
Quick one though, because this is like maybe a month out of when like Klopp came in a similar circumstance in terms of like league position. I think they're slightly lower than that. How did he go about it? Did he just kind of like scorch earth everything, or did he actually bring a few people in?
Was there even any earth to scorch?
No, so he only brought in a couple. Like it wasn't a total kind of rip the band-aid and start again type thing. But again, like he came in and it was just like keep us above water. Kind of thing. Like
because that's why I'm drawing the parallel, because I actually think that in a weird way, he can almost keep Rude for the rest of the season. Just be like, let's just see what happens, cool. And it's like, actually, moving forward with a fresh start, I want you to kind of do that. So that's why I wanted to work it out.
Or even they have an honest convo, bro. You know what? I know you're waiting for the next proper manager's job. Yeah. So, to your point, you stay here for a period of time, end of the season, you help me bed in, you help me, and then the dinner lady, all of the people that matter, right? Help me out with that. Some of my ideas you may like, I might like some of your ideas. You can help me with the attack, that kind of stuff. And then when the next proper job that he thinks he likes in France or England or wherever comes up, he's off. Thanks.
To be fair, he can plug him in because right now his Amorim's reputation is sky high. So if someone says, actually, I've worked with him and I think he's good, that could have replicate that could ripple.
And vice versa. Rude's gonna have the ear of some people in the club in a different way. Let's be honest. Yeah. I like what I'm seeing on the ground. I like what I'm seeing on the training ground. This guy's good. So we underestimate some of that. So I wouldn't be surprised. He starts tomorrow, literally. I won't be surprised if either way, if we hear on Tuesday Rude's left the club or actually send us coaching staff. I won't be surprised. But if he stays in the coaching staff, I don't expect him to be there long. I think the next decent job that comes up, he put his hand up. And it's off. No.
He's put himself in the window.
West Ham,
Now, interesting fact. Man United are 4 points behind Arsenal. Don't like it. Don't like it. The banter will not be good. So it's getting a bit, for all the saying hand madness and all of that, they're 4 points away.
Yeah.
But it just tells you how crazy the league is. Man United are 13th or something.
Yeah.
No, they can't be 13th still, can they? They must have moved up after winning today.
Sorry guys, I couldn't help myself. My bad. No. Man United are... No, they're 13th. Man United are 13th.
Wow.
Arsenal are 4th.
Newcastle jumped up.
And
But the issue is
there's
just
only
how
3
close.
points.
It's
Yeah.
how close it
The
is.
league
yeah.
is condensed.
It's super
Yeah.
It's
condensed.
condensed.
Hella teams on 18 points.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. But yeah,
I expected them to win though. Just like
No, I didn't.
you didn't expect Man United to
I
win
don't
today.
expect anything from them.
Nah,
expected
this
them to win.
like
now,
this
now,
United,
now Ten
yeah.
Hag's gone.
Yeah.
I expected them to win that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
And,
you've gotta
and
be less-
Vardy wasn't playing today as well, so I was like,
Oh, okay.
I know Vardy's.
no Vardy.
Yeah,
Well,
fair enough.
manager's minutes. Man.
All right, Liverpool versus Aston Villa.
Zoop, 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 zoop.
I was expecting. You never Villa the new Jekyll and Hyde, you know.
But
Yeah.
Villa the new Jekyll and Hyde team.
yeah,
Because
I
one
said
week
it
they're
to-
looking.
I said it to Binns. I was like, they're going to struggle in the league.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, Emery's played in Europe before.
you know
It's
what?
fine.
But you know, it's the tactics.
Champions League, bruv.
It was
Champions
tactics.
League.
It was tactics. They will get. They had chances to get. Anyway, you go into it.
You
Go
say
on.
you say struggling in the league, but before the Tottenham game, they'd only lost one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
But
like
since
the
the
last
Tottenham
two.
game.
Yeah, no, but then they played Tottenham away, they played Liverpool away.
Yeah.
In the mid with a big international game. That era. Can we talk about that era by Mings, please? Yeah,
Oh,
we talk
yeah.
about that. But no, in a
But
bit,
Bournemouth,
yeah.
they should have seen off Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Bournemouth
exactly.
got the equaliser.
And Keller, he done a stellar job in goal for you.
Yeah.
So
We're fortunate to have two excellent goalkeepers.
yeah.
Him
You're
and
losing
Alex.
one now, ain't you? Because he wants number one
No,
spot.
yeah. To be fair, he's the way he's playing. We could command a big fee for him, so it will work out both ways.
But
I mean, but
feeling
but-
upset me though. I was a bit disappointed in Emery because I was like, how you leaving one man at the back twice?
right. So
Yeah,
it was
the
twice, like,
tactics
five
are
times.
crazy.
like, and we've had this with Emery before, right? So I don't want to be. I don't
No,
have this
no
recency-
Arsenal bias.
No, I don't want to have this recency bias, but every time I think, yes, you're gonna shut people up. He has a stubborn moment, bruv. You've gone to Anfield, and it was so bad because that first one that Núñez scored, that wasn't even the first like transition, right? That was like the second or third. And I'm like, I had to look at the time a couple of times. Is this the 88th minute? What are you doing?
was
Change
early.
this
Yeah, it was early.
now.
18th minute.
God, change this now. So it's just those moments where when he gets a little bit outsmarted, and it's usually the same thing as the high line, right? The Henry and the high line thing is a conversation every once in a while. I think Slot just outboxed him,
Yeah.
fully outboxed him.
But then also Liverpool love transitions.
Oh,
right now.
As much as there's control added in by Slot, and I know
Yeah.
he's tweaked it,
But
even down to
I think
kind
that
of
makes the transitions even better.
yeah. Because I think it's even better now because it's a bit more control in it. Like you've got Gravenberch there, who to me has been probably pound for pound the player of the season so far. Like I think he's been amazing. And then you just say to them, okay, cool, I'm gonna let Núñez run. I'm gonna let Diaz run. I'm gonna let Salah run. Like it was crazy. Although there was a very controversial
Should've been a
moment
penalty.
in that game.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Which one remind me? I watched
Yeah,
it
the
again.
Ollie
Like,
Watkins
Watkins one.
Push Watkins.
No,
in the
pulled his shirt. You talk about the Watkins one?
Yeah.
I thought about the pull. I don't think the Watkins one was the penalty.
What, the
I
one
think
with
so.
Konate?
I think the shirt.
I thought
think
it was
the
a
shirt.
penalty.
Yeah, I think that's a penalty.
No.
definitely.
He pushed him in the
pull was
back.
a penalty.
No, I think the shirt pull
You
was
didn't
the
think he pushed
penalty.
in the back?
Both of them
I think
were,
both were
but-
penalties.
I tell you the reason why, yeah, because I've seen it. You know when you like drop something like a move on someone,
But
Yeah.
Ashley's a
you know,
striker. He
come on.
knows.
Yeah, I know what to do. But then once he got there, what Konate did was he thought it was smart. He kind of threw himself across the player, knowing that there'll be contact, but he made it look like he kicked into him.
Yeah.
100% that's a penalty.
Nah, I think it
100%
was just
is penalty.
a collision. But yeah,
no,
but
it wasn't. He knew what he was doing.
the pull in the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah, the pull in the second half.
definite penalty.
I think that should have been a penalty, and we were fortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, we played well, man. There was like a little spell in the first half where Rodgers was getting through. And what I like about Slot, he's very quick to tweak things.
In-game
in-game.
management.
Just kind of move positional. So like Gravenberch was getting caught alone a little
Yeah.
bit. So he went to McAllister.
Sit next to him.
Just drop a bit. And to be fair, Jones and McAllister were doing that
Yeah.
interchange really well. So that kind of plugged the hole that Aston Villa were getting. And yeah, to go to the first goal, like the break was good. I don't know if you guys noticed, but David Coote didn't give a foul on Salah. So
Yeah.
if Suarez
Oh,
if
Bale.
Nunes
Oh,
had
Bale.
missed,
Thinking, yeah.
he would like that would have been it. He would have been like, yeah,
Yeah,
carry on,
so-
which I think is just
That ref was moving mad yesterday.
which is just crazy.
He had an unreal game.
Yeah.
And then
Not in a positive way
yeah.
ever.
Then you get the Jekyll and Hyde of Nunes because we have another break. And I was just like, he's gonna miss.
I said it
Like,
straight
I was
away.
more confident in the
Straight
first
away.
one than the
He
second
said
one,
it in
which
chat,
is
he saw the hardest chance.
Yeah,
like,
he always scores.
yeah.
He scores
That
the more difficult
finish
ones.
was crazy.
Bro,
there
it's
was
not
that
easy.
much space,
Bro.
and he got it in. And then the one after, he just balloons
he had
it.
He's
the
running
whole
away
over.
from goal, right? To your point, he's running away from goal. He's got to shoot it back, minimal space
With
to
pace.
finish. He did it with pace and high.
and lifted it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
nuts.
So
Crazy.
yeah, that's good.
And then he's one-on-one coming in off the left.
But the thing with Nunes is he hits the ball too hard.
Brother.
No, it's genuinely like if he hits the ball
There's
like
no finesse in it.
yeah, like I need to
No,
take
there's no
take the
aim.
white off the ball,
There's no
the yellow
aim.
off
It's
the
South
ball.
American
power,
Defoe,
Yeah, it's
bro.
not.
It's
It's
just
just
all
power.
power.
Whereas if he took 10% off of it and put a little bit more aim,
He's just a
But
taller
please
South
don't do
American Defoe, bro. He just hits the ball hard. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and I think I don't think there's any, bar the penalty incidents, I don't think there was any kind of jeopardy with the 1-0 lead. Sometimes you're winning 1-0 and you're like, oh, kind of thing. Like Keller had
But didn't they clear off the line twice?
No, Keller had done 2 saves from corners.
yeah.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they didn't like create chances. If that
There
makes
was a
sense.
5-minute period just before half time
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
he's made the two saves.
Yeah.
And other than that, Villa didn't really do much.
Mate,
And
they're
I-
reduced to what he's taking shots from outside the box.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I think it might have been no, it weren't Torres. Costa tried to head it back. It was weird. Like he should have just headed it out of play,
Mhm.
really. Salah gets in the way, and then when Salah's 1-on-1, it's pretty much inevitable.
So,
So, yeah.
look here. I've said it before, I'll say it again.
Is it what you said yesterday?
Listen, if Slot comes and wins the league, yeah,
Mhm.
I want him gone. I want out.
He's not.
I want out. I'm going to be so vexed. I'm going to be so
You sending an email.
vexed. No. In all seriousness, if he's not going to, I still think City are going to do their 15-game nonsense and it's going to be tight.
I think
But-
it's going to be closer than it is.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I
I think Liverpool
Well-
come. I think Liverpool come back.
Yeah, I
At
agree.
some
Well, they were
stage.
8 points ahead of us in February last
Mm.
season, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
potentially.
that was a lot. That was a lot later.
I know, but again, I think that title charge was all about the emotion of Klopp leaving. The moment that he announced that he was going,
Yep.
I knew Liverpool weren't going to win that league.
I thought the same, but some people thought it was going to drive them to them.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
after
But
we won the cup,
I always
yeah.
felt like, don't say nothing, man.
yeah.
I always felt that. But I guess my point, in all seriousness, this is the rationale. I've been thinking about it a lot since this game yesterday, and this is my thing. Whenever I talk to Arsenal fans about it, they'll say, "Oh, when Arteta came in 2019, it was the worst team he had to work with." Blah blah blah. I'm sorry, we have to dead that now. You know why? He set a new baseline because for the last 2 seasons, his team has been better than Liverpool factually in the league. Finished above them in the league. We can't keep going back to 2019 when it's convenient. So for me, the first season when we finished second, that's the new Arteta baseline. He did his work 2019, 3 years, 8, 5th.
Mm.
Let's park that now. The new baseline starts from there. The guy has now come and taken over a team that hasn't changed from the team that you beat twice. They added Chiesa. He's not touched. Has he played the Premiership minute yet?
No.
Nah,
Right?
he's homesick.
So the guy came and has taken the same team that you beat twice. Because what did you add in the summer of last season? Gravenberch,
Szoboszlai.
Sobozlai,
And
and
Mac
McTen.
Allister. Yeah,
Back
they
then,
changed.
yeah.
They changed the whole midfield.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So those 3.
and Endo.
Yeah. And in the time... oh, he did for that. You know?
Sorry.
Yeah, Buddha. And in that time, obviously, we've invested, we've done stuff.
Mm.
But if the guy comes and takes along the team, you already beat, and he didn't change it. It was just his management, and he beats you. No, we got to have a big
But-
conversation. No, I'm not saying he's got to go. But we need to have a serious convo.
no.
Because I already think Arteta has more rope and has had more leeway.
When
Than any
did
manager in
Gakpo
recent
come?
times.
Last year as well, wasn't it?
No, the season before in the January. So he came just after the World Cup.
Okay.
I think his time's running out, by the way.
No,
Anyway,
no.
Gakpo.
I disagree. No,
You ain't been watching Gakpo
no.
this year.
Gakpo
You-
from
you ain't
the
been
end
watching
of
Gakpo
last
this year.
season, he was turning up. He started to put in performances. The only thing he's not getting is goals that replicate or
Yeah, you
kind
let-
of complements his
You let Diaz
performances.
carry on. But you'll see. But no, but I think, I'm not saying he has to go, but I just think, aside from Ten Hag, yeah, Arteta has had the most amount of leeway
Yeah, he's had
of
the
any
grace.
manager I can
He's
remember
had
in a
grace.
long time.
Yeah.
And I think if Slot comes along and wins this league before him, that has to dead. Like every season now, he should be talked about losing his job if he doesn't win something. I'm serious.
No, 100%. But the other thing, I think, I agree with everything what you're saying. But what we're not remembering is Slot's come in and he's got 5, 6 league. No, pretty much the whole team's Champions League winner, FA Cup. So there's a series of winners. Don't get me wrong, complimenting with the tactics as well.
But these same winners couldn't beat Arteta last year or the year before.
No, I hear you, but I think that was just Klopp's era coming to an end. Like Klopp
We can't have it both ways,
No,
though.
but I'm not. Hold on, I'm not excusing it. I think what I'm actually saying. Actually, it's a good blend. Someone with new ideas, with that level of experience.
So basically, he reinvigorated what was there. I think I agree with both of you in the sense that if he does come, and especially if he wins it by quite a distance, because if it's like maybe close and that happens, that's fine. But even if he wins it by like 4 or 5 points, to me that's
if he wins it on anything other than goal difference, I want a conversation. I'm sitting.
No, the conversation is
I want a
completely
conversation.
right.
No, he's not losing his job. Let's all be clear.
We know that.
He's just got a new contract. Just got a new contract. He's the second highest paid player in the world. He's not actually going anywhere. And I wouldn't even sit here and say I want him gone. I was being extra, but we definitely have to have a proper convo. Almost one of them ones where you see the season after, if the team's even wobbling in November, they should be saying, "Oh, is his job at risk?" Because he doesn't get any of that.
So I think you're completely right. But what I would say as well is I think we've seen from this Liverpool team and even from City that ultimately you have to have the assets at the top end of the pitch to make things happen.
Yes.
So I really think what's also happened as well is you spoke about Salah. Salah and Klopp clearly had a falling out towards the end of the time that was there, right? Do you remember when he didn't really look like wanted to kind of come on and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But I think
it's gonna come out in the biography or
I think
something,
it was
innit?
very, very clear that there was kind of like main character syndrome for both of them there.
Yeah.
So even that going and punctuating that, but again, what he's done is he's thought, he's my main asset, let me get that going as well. And you know that, like you said, when Mo's on it, Mo can fire you to like heights that you haven't really seen for a while. So I think even more, the point I'm saying to you then is, if we don't do it this year, what then has to happen in that summer to me defines what happens next for him. Because if we don't do what we need to do in an attacking sense in the summer, if we don't win the league and Liverpool do, then I am on to him from minute one.
Well, okay, and I don't want to labor on this too much, but if we look at every stat, right? We scored how many goals? Even the striker thing, if you watch the game and at a nuanced level, I get it, right? But even if you just look at it factually, we scored more goals than them.
That's right.
We scored more goals than the season before, right? The only thing that's changed is the manager. Like, it's one of those rare things now where you see someone take over a team that's functioning. Liverpool were in a crisis. They weren't where we were, and he's visibly changed it, and we can see the impact already. To me, that's fantastic management. It's coming from the Dutch league. We all said it. It's coming from the Dutch league. It's going to be Ten Hag number 2. So if he comes third this season, but a good third, I think that's a good season. I was saying it to Kieran Stark, but he's like, nah, winning the league shouldn't be out of grasp for him. And I was rubbishing him. Well, at the moment, he's got, I think what's going to hinder him is some of this team haven't done that slug before. They haven't done it, right? Gravenberch's playing amazing. Doing that till March, April. You're doing well in the Champions League as well.
I think for us to win the league, we need everything
to go
right for us. Like, there's
no injuries.
It's not even the injuries thing. Like, I think we could Trent went out on like 15 minutes yesterday, and like it didn't look like we missed him yesterday. If that makes sense.
But I mean, key players, no injuries to key players. Hold on, we saw how you were crying about VVD. When VVD was missing, you lot were crying, like we had VVD.
No, but it wasn't just VVD that season. It was the whole defence that went out that season.
That was mad.
So like, it wasn't just Odegaard going out for 6 weeks and
wasn't Konate out as well.
No, it was Gomez back then.
No, it was Gomez and Matip. That's why we had
Williams and Matip. Yeah.
And Nate Phillips as well, innit?
Yeah. So I think we'd have to be very fortunate with injuries, player form, etc. And it gets to be everything be right for us to win the league. But right now, it's looking good. Like, attacking wise, we're doing well. Diaz and Gakpo are chipping in with goals, not just on Salah. Defensively, we're looking good. And a lot of people said, Konate not up to the standard, etc. Him and Van Dijk are looking good. Even when Gomez came in last week, it looked good. So right now, everything is nice. If it carries on that way, we'll win the league. But
side note on Konate, sometimes I get blindsided by aesthetics, innit? and he's giving me mild. What's his name?
Sacco.
He's giving me mild
Yeah,
Sacco vibes.
yeah.
I think that's made me not rate him
He's
as
not
well
pretty.
as he
He's
is.
not pretty on the ball
Bruv, he
at
looks,
all.
bruv, he looks
But
like
he's
he's about to do
quality.
something mad.
But he's not pretty.
2 seasons ago when we faced each other, I think it was either 1-1 draw or 2-2 draw. I can't
Oh, and he
remember.
pocketed Martinelli.
No, but that game was about centre backs because both sets of centre backs.
Last year. It was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
It was
by both sets of centre
last
backs.
year.
So for people to be questioning him, and
I'm still not in. I'm not.
I'm in.
I'm not gonna.
I'm in.
I think when
But it's hard.
VVD leaves, we'll see what going on.
No, I think
I
he's going to be good.
We had a discussion about it because I think they were ranking like who's the best.
Yeah.
To me, I said he's clearly the 4th best out of all the centre backs, like R2 and your 2. But what I can see with him is I can see a big upside in terms of when he kind of grows and develops. I still think he needs to be led a bit too much, but I think obviously if you've got VVD next year, that's
Everyone's
gonna help.
getting led.
Yeah, everyone's getting led. But I do see the fact that down his side, he has to do a bit more defending because Trent goes and stuff like that. So
fair.
so he does have to do a bit more
Yeah,
defending. It's a
yeah.
bit like Gabriel for us. Because when Zinchenko used to invert, Gabriel used to do a bit more defending, and obviously there's a little bit more happening on the other side.
And then he
in
looks
terms of
like
looking
he's
after
making it more mistakes.
Yeah, so I think we just need to be very mindful because some of the things that are being said to him are being said about Gabriel.
Yeah.
It's a very similar like discourse. So I think we have to kind of
I'm not
go
saying he's
in with
rubbish or
open
anything.
eyes.
Oh no, I
But-
get that.
I just think he's the 4th, but I can see how he can close the gap.
Level up.
Yeah,
We'll see.
and the gap between all 4 isn't massive. And I think also with Konate, he gives me very old school English centre back vibes in terms of he wants to win the ball all the time, and he's like, I'm getting there, I'm going over you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
That's
sliding.
Like, him and Gabriel are similar in that
Yeah,
respect. isn't it?
like it's that old school, like not really pretty
to-
on the ball,
yeah.
but they'll just go and win the ball when they need to or try and win it. So.
Poor Gomez. He should go somewhere and play. Anyway, Liverpool cracking on. Villa, you made the point quite well. And I don't think there's anything to be crazy about. I think the Spurs loss was more alarming
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Spurs have not been great. So to go there and capitulate essentially as
And
they
to
did.
go up as well. Remember,
Yeah.
they went 1 up, they saw it, and very, very quickly that game shifted.
Yeah.
But again, I think we spoke about Arteta's in game management. Emery a few times. You've got the Scottish guy, McGinn, good player. He's playing Philogene, like Jaden Philogene, who I think has good.
McGinn was on the bench yesterday.
Yeah. But he seems to be picking the wrong players for the wrong games a couple of times.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's
He's
times I thought,
overthinking
you have to play Bailey, but he didn't. And then he plays like Ramsey and it's make it all tight. I think he needs to trust it. And I actually think what you're gonna see is Musa Dembele, who's there last year for them. He was the winger. He went to Saudi.
Yeah.
He's actually a big miss.
I agree.
I think he's more of a miss than people are
I
actually
agree.
remembering because
And that competition there was good. It was
Yeah.
really good. I agree.
because
Yes.
I think Bailey's level hasn't been the same. I remember they were at the same team before, and Bailey left because he came and took his spot. So that actual like intensity, sometimes we have to realize that you need to have good players at good levels because it helps to push the performance
I
of
agree.
both.
No, I agree. And then he got a new contract last year as well,
Yeah,
Bailey.
exactly.
Got a new contract as well. That's fair. Right, all right. Well, unfortunately, Liverpool carry on. Brighton at the Amex 2-1 versus Man City. Let's talk about in-game management. Yeah? Let's talk about it. Now, even though Brighton's manager, I didn't think anyone would annoy me more than Arteta does on the sideline. Bruv,
Active.
this guy, they need to give him one of those GPS things on the sideline. I would love to see the mileage. He said
his heart rate as well.
Mate, he said even when he watches himself, he's like, what are you doing?
But he's in
He
the moment,
said he
innit?
just can't help himself. But yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, City go ahead. So
Yeah.
the early passage of the game, they started really well. City started really well, and I thought,
Yeah, they had a few chances.
yeah, I thought, oh gosh, here we go. Then Haaland scores, and again, it wasn't a clean goal, but it was determination.
Industrious.
Tries to slot it through. Keeper gets a touch in it. He has to go and touch it on the line. So I just thought, all right, well, they're back now, isn't it?
Yeah, routine.
All that chat, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Then half time comes, some changes. I think Bournemouth manager made changes at 45th minute, 57th minute, 65th and 66th minute, right? So we'll talk about other managers. The City hadn't made a change.
Yeah.
Talk about other managers. A couple were through injury, and others were tactical. Right?
Did Belieber come on at half time?
Yeah.
Yeah, Belieber came out half time. I remember him warming up.
Yeah.
And I think that was the massive change. Belieber came on, and then O'Reilly
came.
yeah, ex-Celtic player
Yeah.
came on. And I just think people will say, oh, Man City looked destroyed them. I'm not getting that when I'm watching the game. It's less about them not doing well. It was more that Brighton were executing what they need to do really well. And I think what I find is a lot of teams against, the top teams, that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So especially now in this league, you've got good managers with good ideas and there's the so-called lower teams are doing stuff, but they're executing way less often than top teams. No. The passes, the movement, the patterns, the forward play, and Baliba went in the middle there. And his touch, his control, he was turning out. Yeah. He was not playing backwards or sideways. Yeah, playing through. And at the time, he was picking up the ball. He's got 2 or 3 players on him,
and that's infectious. Like I think you sometimes have to realize that changing of a tide in a game moves everyone forward. Because then I saw like João Pedro looking sharp. Like that's sharp. We went through. I know he missed the earlier chance, but then he was just there. So I think you have to realize sometimes that what starts from one player really does like permeate its way all the way through the team.
Because they went from a double pivot, didn't they?
Yeah.
To a single pivot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And push O'Reilly, and O'Reilly was saying, I was told.
Yeah. So O'Reilly comes on kind of 10 minutes after. So he puts on Baliba, can see that that's working, but then after Baliba's like, I need to change it a bit. So then he brings on O'Reilly. Hinswood got injured, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that one was forced, and then he makes 2 subs. That's when he brings on João Pedro for Dingra. And then brought up Gruda for Ruta. But yeah, it was the equalizer. And even when they scored the equalizer, I was like, they're gonna score again.
Yeah,
they
were
hungry.
asking questions. They
Yeah.
was asking throughout that entire time, knocking the door. I was like, okay.
And I think it's also important that when you do get that one, if you can sense it, you stay on it.
Yeah.
Because too many times we'll sense that, I don't know, it's Man City. Like they'll be like, we shouldn't be doing this. But he's like, we're up. And yeah, it was good.
And I think I've noticed this more in the last kind of 2 or 3 seasons, where the lower teams are less fearful of the bigger teams. And it's actually like, right, we're all professionals. If we stick to our game plan, as John said, we can get something out of this.
Yeah.
And I think it's happened slower with Manchester City. I think up until maybe the middle of last year, some teams like play Man City and still being like, oh, it's Man City. Where now it's like, let's just play football like Brighton did yesterday. And I know you've got to have like the manager, tactical setup, etc., to execute the plan. But when teams are playing like Arsenal, Liverpool, they're just like, right, we can play with you, man. Or if not, we can rattle you. And I think that's a difference maker as well.
Yeah.
Like if you can get in teams' faces, makes a big difference.
I definitely think now where teams are looking at the team sheet because they know KDB's not fully fit, Stones is out injured, Rodri's out injured.
Yeah, they had that young centre back playing.
Yeah.
That young centre.
And I said it.
Rico Lewis.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah, Rico Lewis is
Ake's out injured. And I said to you, Rico Lewis is a very good footballer, but physicality, I think you saw it with O'Reilly's goal.
Yeah.
O'Reilly just shoved him out of the way and was like, bam. I was like, so I think right now teams are looking at them and saying, all right, certain players are missing 1. 2, quite a few players are a lot older now. Walker's what?
Walker is not looking the same. And seriously, teams are targeting that side now.
If I speak, they will say Johnny's speaking.
No. Because you're going to say Walker was never good, and that's a different thing.
But I didn't say that.
No, that's a different conversation.
I just said he's overrated.
No, he's not overrated. It's just age is Father Time's caught up with him now. Like, he's not looking as fast, as strong, as decisive in his game as he once did. And maybe he's second guessing because of his lack of pace.
Really? But no, it's not like people are now, because even that foot race with Traore the other day, he didn't dust him. I don't think the lack of pace has been evident. I just think he's in a bad run of form.
Yeah.
He's got a lot on his mind, to be fair. So.
I didn't want to be the guy
that 20 million or whatever.
I didn't want to say it, but he wasn't shooting. Wasn't maybe shooting in the gym anyway. But I think it's more that I can't remember a moment where his pace has been exposed, like it's diminishing.
And the other thing that we're not truly acknowledging is what is Pep doing with Doku and Savinho, like in terms of how they're playing and implemented their own game style. Like I'm seeing a lot of cutting back in, passing the 5 yards.
But I think
how often are they driving
to
at the
give them
fullback?
the freedom that say Mahrez, Sterling had? You've got to have confidence in the middle of the park if and when they lose the ball.
I don't think the man had that freedom we think they did, but I'll come on to that.
No, I think because Mahrez get the ball and he was always looking. Like Mahrez would rarely come back inside. And if he went forward and lost it, you had Fernandinho in there. You still had KDB to clear it up. I don't think he trusts his middle three to protect them if they lose
I
the
think
ball.
he's just playing a different way, and he's taken some of the freedom away from the wingers. I think the previous wingers had a lot more freedom in terms of
I think from the start, each set of wingers has less freedom. So if I think of like Sterling and Sane, I think they had the most. And then I think if you go back, I think Mahrez didn't have as much freedom as you thought.
Yeah.
What Mahrez did is Mahrez balled out and kind of earned some freedom.
You know what? I just think it was one of those ones where he did what he was going to do, and because he executed it, it was fine.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you go back and watch him play, yeah, he did the nice, step overs and all of that. But let's be honest, he'd get the ball, control it, beat the guy first time, cross it.
Yeah.
Beat the guy first time, pass it. And I actually think we need to ask the question of, are these guys good enough to earn that?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah. Because I think...
I don't think it's all on Pep.
No, I think you're right. And that's why I would say it, because there's actually been a bit of a drop. And even if you realise last year, Foden kind of played on that side. And then he had to earn his right to get the time in the centre and stuff like that. So for me, I don't think they're doing enough. I think Savino's giving flashes.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a performance. I haven't seen a 70 minutes. So I'm a bit like, wow, I've seen moments. Doku to me is too skittish. Like, he's good for 5 minutes, then it's just like, what are you doing? And for someone who has his skills and his abilities to go past people and literally glide past people, like there was an interview where they said, who's the one winger that no one wants to see? And Gabriel and Saliba was like, Doku. Like, everyone knows he's not the one. So, but he's too easy to kind of be like managed in certain games for the skills that he's got.
Yeah.
Now, again, we can talk about the whole kind of structure, but I still think there's enough. City create enough chances for you to go past your winger.
Well, you said about structure.
Yeah.
I've seen Savino try and trouble his fullback way more than Doku ever has. And he's played way less games. From the first game he played,
100%.
he was on it. He's trying to go on the outside. So I hear what you're saying. I think Pep is, and we heard stories, even from Henry, where you score, but you did the wrong thing in the whole structure. You're getting subbed, whatever. But I do think there is an element of, if you execute at the right level of quality, you'll be okay, right? It's retaining the ball, it's doing certain things. And, Mahrez never did a madness. He didn't even dribble past 4 or 5 people, control, do whatever piece of skill to beat that player or make the opening for the pass, and then execute. That was it. Done.
Because is he not playing Nunes on left wing at the moment?
Yeah. Nunes is now getting more minutes now.
Nunes is playing left wing.
Nunes, but I think Nunes has been playing all right centrally, and I think he's trying to again keep him in the team. Pep does this. He'll drop you down for a
100%.
season. He moves you around.
Yeah.
We spoke about the Grealish
Bernardo
thing as
Silva.
well.
Look at the
Bernardo
roller coaster he's had
Silva.
there.
He won't
It's
let Bernardo go.
Yeah, he won't.
Bernardo wants to go. He's like, free me, let me go. He's not letting Bernardo go.
I still love you. He's got that. He's got that.
Come to the end of the season,
stroking his hand.
Yeah.
Bernardo's #1 phone call.
It's mad.
Bernardo,
Yeah.
I need you.
Yeah.
But I want a new challenge.
We're stronger together.
Yeah.
All of those bars, you're just like, come on, man. Like, let me go.
But look, less about Man City. Brighton, though.
Yeah.
Another young manager, doing well. So they beat City, beat United,
Draw against Arsenal. Like, rattled Liverpool for a while. They played really well as well.
They're 6th, 19 points.
He's doing well, man.
Welbeck scoring and performing.
Yep. Danny Mensah, that Welbeck said I'm not going to be the new Heskey.
He started a Denga yesterday.
Dingo,
It's good.
And he's good. He can go both ways, can't he?
And they keep finding these players. I don't know where they got believed. I need to have a look at
Not even the manager as well.
Yeah. Because they
to
hold managers as well.
go from De Zerbi to him and see there's been no drop off from last season.
No.
De Zerbi
And again,
had that.
someone who's a little bit different in their style and what they want. But I believe I understand that they use data for managers as well. That's a data-led approach as well. I don't know what data you'd look for in a manager, but
especially someone that young.
It's probably around team statistics, right? So ball retention, zone
sprints.
stuff. Yeah.
We've seen that where they starting positions and all of those things.
All the heat maps and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have to attribute all of that to the manager.
Yeah.
He's impacting that down. Every year we'll say it, but I think I always wonder. So you got someone like a Brighton who've made that appointment. Whilst Chelsea have got the money, but they said, let's go and talk to Maresca. He did the Championship. Then you look at someone like Palace.
Yeah.
And I know it's all a gamble, but what did they get wrong and what did these guys get right? Because it's not a money thing when you get a manager like this in at Brighton.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't you know, is it just the database, just the data? Because these days, everyone knows
But did
everybody.
Palace get it wrong?
I'm not saying they have. I'm just saying looking at their form and,
Yeah.
you know, you've talked about he's come in and made a very early impression he could tail off. But I just look at appointments sometimes.
But
And
what's interesting, what we're not acknowledging, because there is an element Palace has got it somewhat wrong. Because Brighton started off behind him.
yeah.
Now we consider Brighton a bigger team than Palace.
Yeah. And they've been
A
consecutive.
more consistent team than Palace.
No.
They're not bigger than Palace,
What?
but they're more
They're
consistent in
more
what they've done in the last
consistent.
year.
Yeah, I agree.
They
No,
are
no,
bigger than Palace.
They're not
No,
a big.
no,
They're not a big.
no,
They're
Chris,
not a bigger
based on
football
what?
club.
Oh, you might have a point.
No, let's move
Give
away
me
history.
some metrics though. Give me some metrics. Big
So,
in what sense?
In terms of where they're moving to, aspirations, they're flirting with Europe. Palace don't flirt with Europe.
Yeah. And they've
Brighton's been flirting with Europe.
I think it's
for the
because
last-
it's bigger. I don't know if I class Brighton as bigger, but what I can say is
Better
they've been a lot
stadium.
more consistent, and like in the last few like 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
they've had a much clearer plan and
I think you
vision.
can say.
I don't know,
I think
bigger-
you- I think you say better, not bigger.
Yeah,
I think you say better,
Same,
not bigger.
that's what I'm saying.
I might
Brighton's
be siding-
bigger than
I might
Palace
be
now.
siding with. I might be siding because you got to think
Nah.
about it. So if you look at some metrics, right?
Yeah,
Stadium, fine, right? That's one thing. Facilities probably about the same. Then you training grounds, amazing, Palace,
Yeah.
right? If we look at their status as a Premier League team, I would say in less time they've cemented themselves more, right? Have they even been relegated since they come up? No,
No.
they've stayed.
No.
But I think if you went out and said to people, rattle off
No, but we do.
Go on. Teams that you associate with the Premier League, I think more people would say Palace before
But that's
Brighton.
longevity. I guess.
But I'm saying that's what we mean. That's why
But
you
we
got to
gotta
say
stop-
better rather than bigger. That's why I agree
but they're
with
bigger.
Ash.
They're
Wait,
bigger.
I haven't
bigger.
finished. Then, even managers. So what they bring forward, they contribute to the game. People are going to Brighton for managers and players before they're going to Palace, right? They're consistently churning out players. I think on a few metrics, you could look at and be like, if you just take away all like your
History,
football
historical,
kind of
nostalgia.
nostalgia or
no, I'm
indoctrination,
listening to it. I'm
it might.
I know.
It might not be
I
a
understand
crazy
what
shout.
you're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
but I still think
But
the
that's-
wording.
If I brought you from
I
another
still-
planet and
Yeah.
showed you these two clubs and everything they're dealing with, you might be like, yeah, Brighton.
I'm not being funny. People still call Everton a big club. They're not a big club. What have they won? They can't be called a big club, but we'll do it on history.
Yeah.
We say Everton's
That's
a big
the
club
case.
based on
Forest is a big
history.
club.
Forest is because they won the Champions League.
Yeah.
We do it on history. Now, Forest are
No.
returning.
No,
Looks like they're returning, but that's
no,
another
I
story.
completely agree with that point. I'm just still looking at because for me, Brighton is very much in the last 10 years, like very much so.
Yeah.
Whereas Palace, we know they've been
For
up
us.
and down for like 20 years. Yeah, so I'm
For
thinking
us
if you look at it now,
Londoners,
yeah, if you look at it now, and maybe it is the face of it like we are Londoners and what it feels like to say Palace, but I hear you. I'm not saying no. For me, it just I think
Immediately, it
better.
didn't feel
Right now, I still feel better, but I think in terms of trajectory, I think the bigger part is
Yeah,
coming.
I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
man. I agree because they're going in the right direction, and as much as you know,
And they look more stable for it.
I was gonna say there's a question here, because as much as what's his name, Steve Parish,
Yeah.
runs that club very well. Obviously, they've got the training and etc. Managerially, they've got it wrong more often than they got it right.
Now that's the thing. I think they've been too cautious managerially. I think you're right because remember they went back to
Transfer market. as well.
Roy,
they went back to Roy a couple of times.
Mm.
It was very much kind of like, oh, we're just about to get through, and their view was, let's kind of just survive in the league a couple of times. So I think Glasner was them almost probably
Trying to move forward. Yeah.
trying
Do that
to be
kind of
progressive.
Deserby type higher.
But you say
right?
that though. Remember they had Frank de Boer.
Yes.
Remember they really tried to kind of do that
Oh my,
early,
and
but they
Mourinho
I
just
don't
did
think
it
the club was ready for that though.
yeah.
I think they tried it.
But that's
And then that made them regress even more.
Yeah.
And now it's like we can try it again because we're a bit more stable.
Yeah.
But
And it's
they
easy
have
to say like, oh, Brighton have invested over the years, but you've had Prem money for way longer than they've
Yeah,
had.
thank
What
you.
have you been doing with it?
You could have set up an infrastructure way better than Brighton a long time ago.
I think there's definitely.
Brighton's a bigger club now.
And again, I think they've done well and they've done well relatively. But if you want to have a look at your peers and look
Yeah.
around, there could be a decent and this is probably why John Textor, the American shareholder, he owns Lyon or Lille, one of the other French. He owns a few clubs. He has a different view to Steve Parish about how they should progress the club and invest more money in, etc. And there's probably a conversation to be said. Well, look, yeah, on some areas done well, but you look at your mates. look at your mates.
Your
They're making
neighbours,
certain
your
decisions,
rivals.
right? They're making certain decisions, And the decisions you make 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago with the academy, blah, 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 they kind of bear fruit now.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it's not a wild shout. It's not a wild shout. So, but these clubs doing this.
2 for 4, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
2 for 4.
And the clubs doing this is why the table's so condensed now, right? Because, Brighton are doing what they're doing, Wolves are finding some goals somewhere. Forest were playing well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting time. City lost 4 in a row. Pep did what Pep does. Well,
Maybe
after
6,
5, 6 titles, maybe someone else should win it.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the right to talk like that?
Yeah, but we know what's gonna happen second half of the season. They're gonna go on a run at some point.
And that's if they don't buy anyone in
But-
January.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. If they
But
don't.
and it's interesting because, like, remember everyone at the start, no one's talking about him anymore. The signing of Gundogan, unless
Yeah.
he turns up now. Remember, oh my gosh, good. Oh, and yeah, it's not his fault per se, but everyone's forgetting. Again, he's a year 32, 33.
Yeah.
So,
But it's all the bits that come together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's gonna be a game
and it's
in
the
like
know-how,
February
innit?
or something, and everyone's gonna be back. KDB, Gondowan, everybody, and there's gonna be a goal, and we're gonna be like,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
all right.
the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
This is the City we know. Now it might be too late. Don't get me wrong, but it's something. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but it's coming. Tottenham Hotspur. Hey, Bug, this is for you.
It's a little shout outs, yeah?
No,
There's a few Tottenham fans.
People are messaging me privately, messaging me
they've been
privately,
doing
saying
too
they don't like
much.
what I'm saying.
They've been
Nah,
doing
you
too
need to
much.
message Ange privately and tell him you don't like what he's doing. Yeah,
I'm hearing a few fans, they want him out now.
it's a bit early for that though.
I was listening to TalkSport on the way up.
Oh,
A
why?
few fans.
What is that, the barometer?
No, but like,
Nah,
it's
but
the
there's a
phoning,
few-
innit? Like, the
there's a
phoning
few
is what
fans.
people want, innit? Like,
Listen.
you know what I mean?
Tottenham won, Ipswich 2, and they went behind. In fact, they were losing 2-0,
It was an overhead kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good goal.
mate. At what? It's not even White Hart Lane anymore. What's the new stadium called?
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh,
Is it? That's a bit dry.
who's in market?
He hasn't sold the rights to
Nah,
it.
he's
yet.
gonna sell the rights.
Yeah,
That's
when he
sure.
sells the
That's
rights,
It'd
what
be the
yeah.
Lucas. It would be the Lucas Arena or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet he was told, don't sell it straight away,
Yeah, wait.
because that's a dead name for a stadium, innit?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, don't worry, man. I got the money coming. You know what he's like.
So look, I guess there's always two sides to these things. Let's start with Ipswich though. Right? First Premiership win. Do it away as well. Do it away at Spurs.
In their
Yeah.
defence, though, they haven't been shocking in many
No,
games.
no.
No.
Like, I think West Ham battered them.
Yeah.
But other than that, they haven't really,
It's execution again.
they haven't really been like overwhelmed being back in the
The
league.
company effect, right?
In what sense?
In terms of you're playing your set way and you're just using the players, but they may not have the same
It's not the same thing.
IQ
It's not
and
the same thing.
ability.
No, it's
I
not. the same
think
thing.
that's
It is.
more related to Southampton than Ipswich, to be fair.
Thank you very much.
100%.
They're definitely doing
Not,
company.
yeah, I wouldn't put this label on
This-
Ipswich.
Ipswich have said, no, we're going to run. We're going to fight. They don't even try to play pretty football per se.
Yeah,
We're
no.
going to run and
Yeah.
fight, but we use the ball well.
Because even like Hutchinson, who did well for them last season,
Mm.
he's been kind of like an auxiliary fullback more
Yeah.
than going forward. Leif Davis, who scored a really good goal a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like
Like
football.
even him, like he's getting up there, but he realizing, yo, I can't do what I did. So they've definitely adapted. And to be fair, it's weird.
Pragmatic.
Yeah, what's weird is they're the last to win their first game. But at the start of the season, they looked like the best team that had come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leicester didn't look that good, but then obviously Vardy was like, yo, I'll show you a few tricks.
Yeah.
Southampton, just
Yeah.
I don't even know how they won that game. Like he was like God's grace.
Who
But
did they beat
Ipswich,
again?
they
Everton.
beat Everton.
Last
Yeah.
week.
Mm.
But Ipswich looked like the most kind
Accomplished
of
team
like
balanced.
the most balanced team. Obviously, they started away to City,
Mm.
home to
Liverpool,
Liverpool,
yeah.
away to City. So we thought, okay, yeah, it didn't look too bad. So the fact that they had to wait a bit longer from that, well, hey, what a great place to.
And a few
Get
players
your
are
first
obviously
win,
Delap's making a name for himself.
Yeah.
Assisting a goal today.
Dream team points.
I mean, Ange Ball, man. What's going on?
For
Is-
me,
is-
It's the
there-
culture of that club, man.
Is Ange more a thing? Like,
I'm not
Have you seen
blaming
them play?
Ange. And this is me
It's a
being
thing,
this is
bro.
1 second. This is me being brutally honest. I think any manager that goes in right now, he's going to struggle with that squad. So he may be able to implement a system, but because of the ability or the football IQ of many of the players, they're going to be bouncing around the same issue. They're going to be having the same issues. Like,
Did you see the point that was made by Hugo Lloris this week about the watches?
About the watches.
No, I think no, but you know what? It's really interesting, yeah, because obviously you've got this watch, you've got a present, and a Champions League finalist on there. Like you could have held back and gave it to him at another fate. You could have left it blank.
I agree.
But basically, he's seen it as this is you're just celebrating us getting.
Yeah,
there.
you're just happy to be there.
And happy to be there to some extent is good, but
it shouldn't be the be all and end all, innit?
100%. And actually, I think I think you can see it. No matter who's there, they sacked Jose a few days before a cup final. Now, as much as he could be toxic, he could be.
No, but you know what that was though? Apparently,
why
the bonus for him winning that final was more than the prize money.
No way.
But even then, it doesn't matter.
I agree.
What you've done is you said to yourself, we care more about the accountancy, the numbers on the accountancy sheet
than winning
than you do.
Because that guy don't lose finals.
He doesn't lose finals.
And said it as well. He goes, remember they said they'd rather Spurs lose to Man City, so Arsenal don't win the league.
Yeah.
And he said he was disgusted by the culture. Remember, he was like, he was in press conference.
Started turning on him.
Yeah.
He was like,
that was the moment that it became it all a bit. It went a little bit. But to me, again, it's just down to the fact of it's really weird because I was sitting there and I saw the game, and that to me was like the banker of the weekend.
100%.
Brother, I put them in my account.
Yeah, like, fantasy. I see the most people have like the teams, and then you're seeing it.
I spent 4 points. I brought Solanke.
Yeah, of course. But you're literally sitting there thinking, of course, like they're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
But they do it every single season, like multiple times. And I think genuinely the culture there is almost, it's really hard to say it, but I don't understand how it's continued to permeate this team for years and years and years.
I don't think it's a cultural thing. I just think, to your point, to Binz's point a little bit, it's have they made the right investment decisions when they spent money to bring a certain type of player, right?
I hear that, but if you look at the teams around them and above them, Tottenham have got a better squad than Forest, Brighton, Fulham.
Rewind.
Brentford.
Is it that
they
clear
shouldn't
cut?
they shouldn't be sparring with them.
It's not that clear cut, bro.
I'm being
I'm
honest.
not saying it's clear cut, but I'm saying
Have you
they've
seen
got.
Dragosin play recently?
But man for man, they've got a better squad than those teams.
All right. Who does Bentancur gets in the head of at West Ham?
Any of them.
Any of them.
The worst team to start with. If you said Brighton,
West Ham.
Who?
So he doesn't get that centre mid. He doesn't walk into that centre mid. I guess ahead of.
Is he miles ahead?
Alvarez hasn't been playing well.
No, but is he miles ahead of any of them?
No,
Alvarez.
miles ahead and
Not miles
getting
ahead,
there.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're shifting the
Wait,
goalpost.
he starts at West Ham. No, but he starts there.
I don't know about that.
He starts in front of him. I'll reverse the question. He starts there. He starts in front of Bentancur.
I'll pick a thingy over him. Souček over him.
Oh, get out.
I'll get better performance out of
You got
Souček.
me there.
You lost him. Paqueta, that's it. He's the only clear one ahead. Nah, Souček's a bully. Souček's a bully. Like, I don't know, man.
But that gets you better results. Anyway, 1 second.
I hear what you're saying, but
Good.
Kudos or Brennan Johnson?
Kudos. Go on.
All right, no furthermore. Bowen or Brennan Johnson?
Yeah,
Keith.
okay. No, okay.
Man.
So let's keep the goalkeeper.
No, he actually thought about it, you know.
I know. I don't know why.
Wait, you're still thinking as well.
No, I said Bowen.
I
clearly said Bowen.
Remember what I said squad. I'm not saying positionally wise. I'm saying squad.
Cherry picked a couple of
Yeah, don't
positions.
say like I'm.
I could go through the whole squad.
No, but every team has better players.
Bruv,
every team has better players in certain positions than every other team.
Because
Richarlison or
centre-backs get in the West Ham team as well. Van der Ven gets in that West Ham team.
Okay, I'm not disputing. If Kurt Zuma was there,
I think the whole back four does. I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Maybe not one
not the goalkeeper.
Maybe not one
Van
don't
get Romero, Edogi, and Pedro Porro will start for West Ham.
100%.
Then as well.
Yeah,
cool. And then if you're
Madison
being
starts for
realistic,
West Ham.
Madison starts for West Ham.
Over Paqueta.
Kula starts for West Ham.
Over
You
Paqueta.
pay both of them.
No. Over Paqueta.
Okay,
right
Son.
now, you can't even get the Tottenham team right now.
Okay, Son. Does Son start for West Ham? Of course he does.
Yeah, he does.
Like, so what you're saying, you can't cherry pick.
I'm walking out.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you can't cherry pick positions.
Like, obviously, Solanke starts.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, so like he starts.
Somerville or Richarlison?
Richarlison.
Somerville's
not done anything in the Prem.
So when you start going
for the Prem for 2 years.
Hold on 1 second, stop.
No, I'm choosing Somerville, sorry. Richarlison's moving bad. I'm choosing Somerville.
Let me know.
To start.
But when you start dissecting through the squads, I'm not saying some of them are not better than some players, but when you go through the squad overall,
I'm not saying
they're
it's
not a
clear,
strong squad.
but they're saying
And-
they've got the
and
teams
this is
around them. They've got a better squad than the
Than
majority of the
100%.
teams around them.
Miles, no.
I didn't. No, I
Nah,
said
he
the
didn't say
majority.
miles,
I
he
know,
said-
but
he
it's
said-
not. It's not
No,
better.
but they shouldn't be
it's not better.
10th. Whoa,
It's
look,
not better.
Villa's
It is.
above them.
No, but I'm saying to the point. You're saying it's not the manager, it's the squad. If you brought in another manager with those
I think
players,
it's
struggle.
you would do better.
They will
I don't
struggle.
think
You don't
so.
think Emery would do better with this team?
Didn't Conte complain about the same thing? The quality of players he's got.
Oh, it's worth.
No, hold on. Look what Conte's doing at Napoli now.
The one thing I would say though, to add in is I think some of the signings that Ange has made, like he put 50 million on Johnson.
Yeah.
And I know he's picked up, but that's a big statement.
Yeah.
Richarlison was obviously like
That was
predated
pre
him
him,
as
isn't it?
well.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
bought
Udogie
in.
was pre
He's
him.
bought in.
Bentancur's
He's bought in
pre
like
him.
Bergval. He's bought in Archie
Maddison was
Gray.
his.
He's bought but
Werner.
Madison's at 35 mil anyway. No, now that to me
Which one?
is the problem. Werner.
No.
No, let me tell you why Werner's the
Kulusevski's
problem.
It's a loan, though, so it's all right.
No, let me
No,
explain
no,
to
but
you.
Kulusevski. But what I'm saying, when you look at
No,
the
Werner
players,
was mad.
No,
but when
to
I'm saying, when you
re-sign
look at these
Werner.
players, what top 4 team are they getting him?
But they're not going for top
All
four.
right,
No,
Sheldon.
but that's
No,
but
he is.
He is.
So what? This is what I'm saying. So when we're looking at the top 4 or what they should be pushing for, who are they pushing
No,
in
but-
the top 4?
So hold on,
Who one of their players?
Yeah.
Which one of their players are replacing any of the team in the top 4? None.
all right, hold on. So this is what I would
Not
say.
even
Hold on.
Chelsea's on the trajectory upwards, and I wouldn't swap any of
Yeah,
their
but
players.
they
I
weren't the
think Udogie
team.
would get
But
my
they
get.
weren't the teams.
Pedro Porro, Doggy.
They
Udogie.
weren't the teams
Porro's
I
a
was
bit-
comparing them to
Yeah.
though. The teams I compare them to
But
are the
they-
teams that are in and around them right
Yeah,
now.
he did.
And
Yeah,
I'm
he
saying,
did.
and
He's
I'm
not talking
saying
about those teams,
those
to be
teams
fair.
that Tottenham are in and around
Yeah.
with that squad, they should be below City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United.
Because Bins, look, above them is Villa. One below them now is Brentford, Bournemouth. Man United.
Wissa's better than Wissa in Bremo.
Oh, they could
But
do
you're
them.
doing
no.
individual players.
No,
I'm not
Ah,
talking
they
about
mix
that.
up the team.
Yeah,
I-
I'm
I
saying
know,
just
I
in
hear
general
what
the
you're saying.
squad.
I also hear what you're saying. But what I'm saying to you, the squad is not that good. So overall,
Okay.
the squad's a bad squad.
I never
But what I'm
disputed
saying,
that.
I'm
Okay.
saying their squad is better than their position, though. Their squad is better than
No, it's
10th.
not. I don't think it is.
100%.
You
No,
think their
no,
squad
no,
is the
hold
10th
on.
place?
100%. This is not me being biased. I'm telling you. No, you're looking at it on paper.
Oh,
No, you're
wow.
moving mad.
You're
I'm
bad.
not.
Nah,
I'm telling
okay,
you.
no. Age, I understand your point. Actually, your breakdown does make sense. Again, I'll give
Yeah,
you that.
no,
I'll give
it's
you kudos
annoying.
on that.
It's annoyingly correct,
No.
yeah.
What you've done, the one thing I said is you've gone slightly too far to be like there. It's a 10th best squad in the league. It's not. But what I think you are right is there were some key things that they needed to address that they didn't really address properly in the last
Yeah.
summer.
Mm.
And I think what you have seen is I think they've kind of almost focused a bit too much on the potential. So that's why they bought players in a year or two is fine. But where they want to get to next year, they should have been a little bit more focused. So that's why they signed the Werner thinking that was a cheap option to bring other people in. But actually, he's not good enough to be there anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you got Odegaard, who's good, who's a good
Yeah.
prospect.
And he's not starting.
Nah, he's not
He's
going to
injured,
start. Yeah, but
Oh.
even then, there were certain times where he could have started at the start of the season,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then Werner was starting. You can clearly see that Werner's not good
And
enough.
Werner's going to be on
anyway.
experienced player wages,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So I think Solanke was a good move,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, no,
If you look at the money they spent, who's available in the market now, blah, blah, blah. Even though you could say stats-wise, he's finally achieved one season of his potential. How old is he? 28 or something?
Yeah,
right?
27, 28.
27, 28. But fine. But to your point, someone like Werner is clogging up the wage bill.
And
right?
blocking someone's
I don't think that was
blocking
great.
someone's progression. Because
Yeah,
even like they got this Mickey Moore, they got this
Yeah.
Odegaard guy. They've
Archie
got-
Gray is
they've
not
got-
even playing in his position. They're playing him
Yeah.
fullback.
Yeah.
And he was shelling for Leeds in midfield
Yeah.
last year. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird.
all of
Yeah.
those things as well.
And
And then
I-
even some of the players like Basuma dropped off the cliff after last season. Like, and he's too sometimeish. The only person who I think has played consistently well is Pat Matasar. Whenever I've seen him, I've been very
But-
impressed by him.
But I think,
Van der Ven as well.
yeah.
But you see Van der Ven, yeah? So Van der Ven, in terms of like recovery and heroic defending, 100%. But he gets caught out a
Anticipation.
bit
Yeah,
too much.
positionally.
No. Just because he's quick. No, watch him. No, but just because he's quick, he gets himself into certain situations. But to me, the biggest problem is Romero.
I
Like,
was
he
just
does-
about to
yeah.
say. And I think some of Van der Ven's problems
Yeah.
Romero.
are Romero.
Yeah,
It's Romero
100%.
causes them.
But then he should be saying to him, yo, do this and like do better.
He doesn't look like a guy that listens.
Yeah.
But that's the problem to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm saying to you that I'm going to, if I especially know that I'm the person who's doing a lot of the running,
Mm.
I'm going to set the line as where I want to run to.
Mm.
So really and truly, if I'm the more kind of like physically competitive centre back, I should be saying to you, this is what we're going to do because this is what I'm more comfortable with.
Yeah, but Romero is. But I think some of what you said. So for me, it's Ange's in a type of club environment because they got director football and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Arteta where he's a bit more old school and he's a manager and he's got. So some of that then goes upstairs and says, well, what are they giving him to work with?
Yeah.
Right? So even feel like the Timo Werner thing, they might have said to him, listen, this is the maths. It's Werner or this. And he's gone, all right, Werner then. Because it's only a loan, not perm, it's a loan for another season, right? So there are limitations that Andrew's going to be working with.
Yeah.
But I don't think he should still be where he is.
I look at
because what you're saying is we shouldn't be too harsh on the manager because actually that squad there, he's doing the best with what he's got.
Don't get me wrong. I think he's culpable with some of the issues there.
Okay,
but, like it's not talk, but I'm saying whoever you put in are going to be facing the same issues. And I look at the midfield. He's changing that midfield every week. That central three is changing. 1 week is Basuma and Sarr and Kulusevski. Then it's Maddison and Sarr. Then it's Maddison and Basuma. And
a couple. But I think the Maddison signing started really well. Maddison's form hasn't been what it was, and he kind of put a bit of a big banking on Maddison to be that progressive player.
Yeah,
Kulusevski's gone in, played well, but you can't play both of them because actually there's not enough legs for them. And Kulusevski wide doesn't do what he can do. So really and truly, he's playing people on a bit more form. But then at the same time, it's like, I've banked on you to kind of almost be the leader of this new gen.
And again, Kulusevski's not that great. So
and then they play Galatasaray the week and get spanked.
Yeah.
He gave some people an opportunity to, Maddison play that game with us, but Galatasaray, they moved.
But then you know what? That makes it even worse because then this is a pretty fresh team that's played Ipswich.
Yeah.
So he's set up thinking, I can give people some minutes. So this isn't like, we went to Turkey with the first team. This is a fresh team that got beat by Ipswich. So it's even more of a warning sign, to be fair.
Yeah, and they've got City next after the international break.
But then you know what's
weird?
But
they've got a really good record.
Yeah, they'll do something in that game. They will. Yeah. They'll do something in that game because
City
there's nothing
can't lose
on
5
it.
on the bounce, surely.
No, but even if it's a draw, considering the state of play, if they get a draw, that's a good result for everyone, bar everyone around them. And that's a good result for Spurs if they get that.
I just think when I look at them and I've been watching them this season and the games I've watched them, I just think they've got no kind of direction, and that's just based on the quality of the squad. I know Ange talked up, I always win something in my second season or whatever it was. But I just look at the squad and the son's getting a bit older. He's
32 now.
He's not looking as clinical as or as sharp or as direct as he once was.
He shouldn't be playing wide anymore.
Yeah, but you spend that money on Solanke.
You got to play him. No, 100%.
But then I think even though you play him centrally, he doesn't have the same pace or physicality to play central. So you're a bit stuck. So I'm looking at the squad and I'm saying, it's very unbalanced. There's not a lot. And then you look to the bench, who's coming off the bench for them?
Yeah. They're still playing Davis. Davis is still coming off the bench for them as well. He's like their full centre back.
Yeah, you said that last week.
Yeah.
When I saw him, I said, you're still there?
Jagerson and Davis was their centre
I thought he was
centre back.
Burnley in the Championship or something.
So this is what I'm saying. So when I look at them, I think they are where they're supposed to be. Because I think overall, they got gems.
Yeah.
But overall, it's not a great squad. But I'll say the left back, the centre back you can work with. Pedro is kind of like his buzz is gone now, and he's not looking as sharp or as was competent as he did when he first came. You know, the midfield's just awful, and then you sign Solanke, and then Brendan Johnson on the purple patch is looking good, but is that who you want to be your main right wing forward?
No, I hear you. I think again, when you do look at that squad, there's definitely holes in it, but I think also the player performance, and you got to look at the games they've actually lost or dropped points in as well. Like Ipswich at home is not good.
It's just crazy.
Like it's just sit there from really silly situations. They've been able to lose points against it.
I know the problem with when you're playing in Europe as well. It just starts to compound.
Yeah,
we've lost 2 games in 4 days.
Yeah,
I think the international break has come at a good time. Definitely come at a good time. And the only thing I would say is at that club, you're leaving before Daniel does, isn't it?
Yeah.
So some of that might perpetuate. And I think some of the changes have to be upstairs in terms of how and when they... But Daniel Levy will say, well, we spent big. How much was Solanke?
65.
60 mil.
Yeah.
Well, that's not big these days, though, is it? 60 mil.
It's not, but it's a statement for them. And again, I'm just looking at the games they lost. Like they lost to Palace, giving them their first win of the season. They were 2-0 up. They were 2-0 up against Brighton, and then managed to lose that as well. When we played them, it's fine. Newcastle, they were on top of them, should have won that game and didn't. So again, the people that they're losing to people around them, which is big, but then also they're giving up very promising positions to lose games.
And that's why I'm saying I think Ange's ball works to a degree, and I think it's the intellect or the IQ of some of the players.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's
fair.
true. No, that's a factor. It's not talked about enough, but it's a factor. Sometimes when I see them with the iPad, I say, you see the player looking like
Yeah, you have
and I'm
no
like,
clue.
I'm gonna control the ball, and then But yeah, well done to Ipswich. Spurs, keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're
Calvin Phillips as well.
Anyway.
Here
Anyway. Right. Brentford 3, Bournemouth 2. I mean, this game, yeah, just end to end.
This team.
It's just crazy. But I had to think about that. The defending, bro. Like, Thomas Frank must be pulling his hair out. Seriously.
Yeah, they need a defender.
No, but Wissa, man. Like, if he carries on like this, did they keep him in the summer? Wissa's
his journey and what he's doing is
crazy.
proper.
And when Tony was there, it was always like back up, come on, sub here and there. But it felt like every time he played, he would contribute.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw somewhere on Twitter the other day, it's always going to be Twitter to me, that his minutes per goal or his open goals per minute ratio is way higher than Tony's.
Yeah.
Way higher.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't take the pens, and Mbeumo does, or free kicks. So yeah, 3-2. Game was 1-1 at half time. Bournemouth went ahead, Evan Nilsson, because centre backs still don't.
Yeah, he used to play for Liverpool.
Yeah, they just keep passing the ball short back to the keeper.
Yeah.
He's ran to the keeper nicely and slotted it in. So already mistake there again, defending individual error.
And to be fair, Evan Nilsson, he was their record signing to replace Solanke.
Yeah.
Not that they're not missing Solanke, but it's not noticeable.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Like he's doing well.
Almost been good this season.
Yeah.
Like,
And they spread it out a little bit, right?
And I
It's
think
Semenyo.
what they've done this year is you said that's right. They've slightly shifted from, okay, we're going to
Focal
go
point.
through a focal point. Now it's going to be a little bit more fluid up there. You've seen that Tabernier's got some, Semenyo's got
Kluivert.
some, Kluivert's got a few as well. They got a couple of other players out that have done all right. So yeah.
It's interesting to watch that again. Again, you know, people, you know, when I salute to Bournemouth's hierarchy.
Yeah.
Salute certain people, no names, key. They weren't having it when we were talking about it. But then so it goes in 1-1 and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe the game will settle down. Yeah, all right. Come out the gates, Kluivert scores, 49th minute. They respond within a minute. Damsgaard scores. And then Wissa kind of wins the game for them 58th minute. And it could have been more. This could have been
the
quality
chances
finish as well.
both end.
But that Wissa goal, that last goal, the movement, and then the finish.
Yeah, it was such a good goal.
To the point about the Tony thing, I think everyone realised Tony is the focal point. You have to play through him. And they was like, okay, cool, we'll do that. When he was banned, you could actually see a few people be like, oh, actually, this is quite like nice.
Oh, I can shoot now.
Like, yeah, like, oh yeah, I can take a couple. Like, it's a bit of like an emancipation of, right, we can actually do it. Like, Mbeumo, even though sometimes his actual in-game play isn't the best, he was still like a lot more decisive. And you think about it, you score a couple of penalties, like your numbers go up, your confidence goes up. Before you know it, you're much better. And that's why I think sometimes it's really important that some of the strikers do have penalties. Because if you do stat pad a little bit and get that confidence up, it gives you that ability to know, hey, like, there's more regular goals coming. But one thing I'd say about Wissa that I've always liked about him as well is it's his intelligence. Like, he's such a very good player in terms of he's not like lightning fast. He's not that, but he's sharp. He's instinctive. He's always thinking about where can I be where it might drop, or how can I be in a position where I can actually like affect the game.
And then he finishes. Like, he finishes very well.
You know, and as you talk, I was like, you know, he reminds me of a Mane kind of vibe. You know, like Mane, just so intelligent, the little pockets he picked up, how he's going to make that run, the timing of the run. Yeah, like, he's been
You know
really
what
impressive.
I like about Wissa as well? And it was going back to the Nunes point. He never hits the ball too hard.
No.
He doesn't hit the ball hard. Yeah, he just thinks
in.
where I need to kind of go, and it's very much like quick movements. Like, it's never like, oh my God, I need to like whack the white off the ball. It's very much like, okay, cool, shoot. And you're in such a good position. Even if he slightly scuffs it, he's still clean enough for it to go in.
And you look, sorry, at that game, you know, that puts Brentford 1 point ahead of Bournemouth. Both their goal differences are 0. I told you, you need to know. Meanwhile, Spurs, who are on the same... Bro, Spurs, who are on the same points as Brentford, their goal difference is +10.
Yeah.
That just tells you that the
defense.
defending is just absolutely bonkers.
But then also, Bournemouth are winning those games just by like 1 or like that. Tottenham, whenever they've won, I think they've won
Big
like
goals.
4s,
Yeah.
5s. So it means that
Smashing.
when they're up,
Yeah.
Ball, they're up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. They scored like 20 odd goals this season in the league. It's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. All right, and then last but not least, game we're going to focus on Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. 2:00 kickoff today at the Forest City ground. Sorry, you know, after we talked about you last week and lauded you, the boys let you down. But I thought it was going to be another week of Forest doing well. It was, I think the first 25, 30 minutes, it was more Forest.
You think, I thought their goal was against the run of play.
I don't
Right.
know.
I thought
I thought
Newcastle were good for it.
Newcastle had possession, but it didn't have much intent.
Yeah.
Didn't have much intent. And every time they lost
Forest
the ball,
ball.
the commentator was like, "Oh, here we go."
It's a bit basketball. They were like, it's a bit basketball.
Exactly. I think Carragher said he felt like he was watching a 1988 FA Cup quarter final or something. But yeah, great cross from Elanga from a free kick. Murillo gets the goal. It was almost like Chris Wood's goal last week in terms of 6-yard line from a set piece. Poor defensive decisions.
Yeah.
Isak was marking him.
Yeah, Isak was zoning, innit?
Yeah, and then he's dropped
And
off
took
to get the
2
front
steps
zone.
back just to leave
Lost
that
him.
space.
And then,
right,
but even the
space
first
vacated.
man is not one of the taller guys either.
But they made a point saying, why is Dan Burn at the back post? Why is Joe Linton
Because he was
behind
worrying
him as
about
well?
Woods. He's worrying about Woods.
No, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, you've got Joe Linton, you've got
Gimaresh, who's about the same height as Joe Linton.
yeah,
fair.
you've got players, but you've got players who, like, to me, Joe Linton and Burn are gonna really attack the ball. You got Shah as well.
Yeah.
So if you actually position him, you should have one there,
Yep.
one in the middle, and one
I
further
agree.
back. So
I
they should actually have swapped
So
Isak
you almost
and
had
Joe
2
Linton.
sub-height
Yeah,
players in a row.
Yeah.
So you beat the first man, that's fine. And interestingly, before Murillo got the ball, there was a Nottingham Forest player who missed the header as well.
Yeah.
So he might have, flicked. So it was
but
just
even
poorly
if
set up.
Dan Burn's that tall, right?
Yeah.
So if they're gonna play that, they have to get the ball over Dan Burn. It would make
Exactly.
more sense for Dan Burn to be at the
I
front
agree.
because then if he's super tall, you got to get
Yeah.
the ball over
Exactly.
him.
And there's
Yeah.
less worrying
And
about buckle.
Shaw's still good at the back
Yeah.
post as well. So it's just
Yeah,
a
it was
setup
crazy.
as
It was
well.
crazy setup. So and then they pressed on after that. I didn't feel like Gordon had his best game, but he was back out wide. Aina seemed to have him in his pocket, man. There was a
But
few things he tried.
Gordon was playing right. No, he's playing on the right. Gordon was on the right.
No, he's
So
on the left.
no,
Joe
no,
Lennon
No,
was on the right.
Joe Lennon was on the left.
No,
But-
they're letting on the right because they highlighted it.
No, they highlighted
At
it.
the end
Yeah,
of the game.
Gordon was
Yeah,
coming
they
up
swapped
against
it.
Elena, and he was
Look,
he pocketed
Last
him.
week they done it for the Saka
But-
against it, but this
Yeah.
week
Maybe
they
they
switched
swapped
it around.
over.
They
Yeah.
switched it around this year.
When I
That's
was
what-
watching it, Gordon was on the right.
Yeah, Joe Linton scored from the right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when it started,
Yeah,
for the first
They
20
turned it
maybe.
around.
so
And
they
then
maybe switched it over.
second half again, set piece, bit of a melee, but Isak ball comes to him, thinks quickly. That
Instinctive.
finish.
Yeah.
that's the guy.
I knew it.
That's
I
the
knew
guy.
it. Yeah.
Listen, there's no footballer that makes more sense for our club than Alexander Isak. There's no footballer like everything that we need. Prem experience, the type of thing that we require. Can play wide as well.
Can finish.
Can finish. Great movement, intelligent.
Got a bit
like,
of individuality, like
But even then, he can still, like, you saw it, you hold it off. Like, he's a threat behind everything that we require. And he was I think we could have got him.
And even if he cost 80 million now, I think you could just pay it. I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think you go and
more
pay
than
it.
it because it was in the 70 when they signed him.
But even
Yeah, but the
yeah.
market's changed.
But even then,
Yeah.
like where we were at the start of this season, we knew what we required
And they got FFP problems.
to
all
make
of
the
that.
next step.
Yeah.
And if you make that signing and you do it, and I'm not talking just about like domestically, even from a European perspective,
Yeah.
that elevates us. Because people kept on thinking about these signings to win the league. We should be making signings that make us a competitive club in every competition
I
that we're
agree.
in. We can't limit ourselves to just someone domestic. He has the ability to do both well domestically as well as in Europe.
And with all due respect to Newcastle, if Isak reaches his potential, they're a stepping stone for him.
Yeah.
So does it then come to us and he's part of the reason we crossed the line? Or does he go to someone else and help them? Nah,
Yeah.
that's the key.
And that's what I think is going to happen next.
Yeah,
So unless we do it, we've probably got one more window of opportunity to get him.
Yeah.
If we don't do it, he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to score against us every single time. He's that guy.
The only
He's that
thing
guy
I
who
would
score
say,
against
though,
you
is-
every single time.
The only thing I would say is the people that can spend the big money, they're not in the market for him, right? So City are not in the market for him, right? Anytime soon. Man United, FFP, they can't do it, right? They've already spent some of their FFP on sacking Ten Hag. even if you look out to the summer.
Chelsea.
Is that
But
Nunes
remember, we
maybe?
can't just think about here because I've been watching
I was just about to
playing
say.
like PSG.
I was
And
just
if I
about
look
to
at PSG right now, they're screaming for his type of profile of a striker.
I was just about to say. So
and
then
if he
you go
goes
abroad.
there,
Yeah.
he enhances
Yeah, yeah.
himself and them straight
Yeah.
away.
Then you go abroad, and the PSG and Madrid are probably the two teams that would make bids that we would compete with. The Italian teams are not going to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's, PSG can come and they'll pay the 100 million.
The Barca's doing some.
Yeah, but even Barca, there's a couple players they want. They didn't want to.
Yeah,
they want to spend the money. So yeah, I fully agree with you. Then Joe Linton follows up Isak assist, and then Harvey Barnes, man.
Your guy.
just can't stay fit, can he?
Another near post finish.
Listen, when we show Martinelli the door, someone needs to call Harvey. That's what I'm saying.
I think like check his injury record's a bit of an issue though, ain't he? He's had a couple long. Don't get me wrong, I rate him as well. But I think if I think back to that Leicester City and Newcastle, even at Newcastle, he's had a couple spells on the sidelines.
He never seems to get the full run. He never does a full season. There's always like a 6-weeker or something that's really frustrating.
And he's only 26 as well.
Yeah.
Still young.
A good player.
So yeah, the Forest run stops, but again, they're still in a great position. Newcastle, they kind of found their feet again. Good win against Arsenal. Now these points, again, the table's so condensed. I mean, they're 8th. The run they were having, it didn't feel like they would, and what, they're 8th on 18, and they get 19 points. There's 4 teams on 19 points. So they're not even adrift or anything. Right?
And you got to give Eddie Howe credit to a degree because he's dealt with some injury issues. He's put. I was a fan of Luce. Luce looks competent now.
No, I was thinking that today.
He looked competent.
He looks like a true
anticipating, intercepting.
They're looking after him a bit more though. Now,
and he got an England call up as well.
Yeah, how they set the team up, even against Arsenal, was to look after his side a bit more because I think they left him a bit too exposed. And with Dan Burn being on that side, kind of struggled in terms of like mobility in the gaps. Yeah. So they've looked at it, they've reinforced that side, and actually he looks a bit better.
And then the other right back,
Livramento.
Yeah.
So
he's all right.
He's all right. And then but I'll give Eddie Howe this as well.
Livramento, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
Because hasn't Joe Willett started the last 2 games?
Yeah.
And he's dropped to Nali.
Yeah.
Joe Willett looked all right as well.
And then he's also put Joe Linton in the front line, meaning there's a bit more stability around it as well.
And you're getting that aggression up front as well. You're starting defending aggressively up front. Yeah.
So
but Willock was running around Willock was probably their most effective player today.
Yeah.
And he came off around 60, 65 minutes.
He'd done a lot of running.
Yeah. Well, not even that. He was, even before he came up, he set up Isak for a volley that he should have scored.
Yeah.
He had a couple of tosses in the butt. Yeah, he was giving Forrest a lot of problems.
But, and remember, I know you're not Eddie Howe's biggest fan, but he shows the minerals or the mentality to say, look, this ain't work. I'm prepared to make big calls. And he's still got the team playing for him. Like there's been games that you think, oh, he should be losing, or with the squad, and he gets a draw or he gets a win because there's been so many injuries. So credit to Eddie Howe as well.
So yeah, Newcastle kind of picking up a bit of steam. Just to round up the rest of the games, Fulham win away at Crystal Palace 2-0. Emil Smith-Rowe with both goals. No, Emil Smith-Rowe and then Harry Wilson.
Again,
who, I'm going to call it 1+1. he had another good goal chalked off for handball. Fulham are just quietly, I think I said it before, they're just quietly going about their business. Smith-Rowe, I'm just saying, man. What's he got now? 4 league goals, 5 league goals?
Yeah.
Oh no, about 6 goal involvements. See, I think 4 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harry Wilson again doesn't. I don't know what he
his
needs to
goal
do.
on Monday was really good. You know,
Yeah,
that first goal was
one,
really, really good. I don't think it really got the plaudits it should have got. Like it was such an intelligent.
And he's not been able to get in his team, right?
Yeah.
He's one of these players I thought might drift out of the game. He comes on again.
Pereira shouldn't be playing in that team, you know.
No, he's important to them.
I don't think he's been
watch
that
him,
good, man.
He's important to that team.
I don't know,
if you're Silva, well, think about it from a coach's point of view.
Yeah.
If he's gonna give me 7 out of 10, more times than not, those are the people I need. And then the Iwobies and ESRs and all that can have their dips and troughs. I need the Pereiras.
I don't know. Like I've really watched.
It's a bit like Gimaresh at Newcastle.
Yeah, but you know what it is? I think I've probably watched Pereira a bit more because he's in there with Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not even saying Smith Rowe's putting up trees as well, but there's been a few times I thought, like, actually, could they tuck Iwobi in and do the job there? Because Iwobi's been good.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I'm
been
really,
really good.
really,
Didn't
really,
he do that
like,
last
he's been
season?
really
Like,
good.
Iwobi was central quite a
Yeah.
lot at the start of last
That-
season, wasn't he?
And that's why I was thinking, actually, could Iwobi go in there and then you almost take Pereira out and you put someone else in there? But then, to be fair to your point, John, sometimes the manager needs a player like that because he's almost the manager on the pitch for them. Like, he'll do those little bits and pieces. So I get it, but
Because you got Sanderberg and Pereira.
yeah.
And I think for him, like Pereira, when he's good, he's really, really good. But I think his floor, on average, is just a little bit higher and does the things he needs him to do. So he just quietly does the machine.
Fair.
And I think that's what it is. I think that's what it
And
is.
what was like when you was watching the highlights and the kind of some of the feedback was how many of them were breaking really quickly, and like and the interchange
Yeah, it was
between them.
crazy.
Like Reece Nelson's looking good. End product still is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, but
But
his pace, he
his
gets in
pace,
positions, yeah.
Dribbling, he was really effective.
And it's good enough for that. I think Joachim Anderson's been a massive signing for them
100%.
Yeah,
because Calvin Bassett even looks solid now.
yeah.
Their fullbacks have done really well.
Yeah, Tete.
Because remember, they got Castagna, who I actually think is a good fullback, and he can't even get a
Yeah.
game.
Oh,
I like Robertson
Yeah.
as well. Robertson's really
Robertson
good.
now because Tete started the season, and now Robertson it's good. Leno has been all right.
I mean, Traore's holding bench.
Yeah.
Sessegnon can't get him.
I remember Matt
Tom
Muniz.
Kearney.
Muniz was tearing it up at points of last season, and he doesn't get a game.
Yeah.
And now Jimenez is playing,
Scoring,
and he's
yeah.
like, again, it's assist or
No,
a
but
goal or
Jimenez has
something.
been moving mad though.
Yeah. Small, small.
Back in assist. He's
Small,
got a little
doing
slack to his
something.
game. Yeah, he's been moving mad. So yeah, fair play, Marcus Silva again. Obviously, he's been on the UK kind of managerial train for a while because he did Everton.
Mm.
Did he do Hull? Am I making that up?
That's where he came in.
Yeah,
so
Hull,
he,
yeah.
That's
he,
it.
he came in to try and keep Hull up.
Yep.
Didn't, but their style of football changed.
Mm,
Then he went to Watford.
Watford,
and
that
then
was
Watford are just a mess anyway.
mm.
Everton, I don't know
I
what
think it
happened
was
to Everton.
circumstantial.
Yeah.
Some of it was circumstantial,
Yeah.
and some of it was probably his style. But I think he's gone to Fulham again. He got time, to be fair, because it wasn't
Yeah.
always rosy.
Yeah.
And I think
got
it's
time.
good he went down to the Championship with
Yes,
them as
yes.
well. Like it wasn't
Wow.
because Hull, Watford, Everton were like going to the
Battling.
Prem
Yeah.
and see,
Battling,
try and keep a team up kind of thing where he had time in the Championship to
To
be like,
build what
right,
he
this is what I
wants
can
to
do. You
do.
can see how they're
The
getting on now.
system, yeah.
Everton 0, West Ham 0. And testament to how much of a score of a ball draw this was, yeah? You know when you're watching the timeline of a game, bro, there's not one event from this timeline until the 67th minute. You know what those events are? Free subs. So,
I didn't
unless
even check the highlight. I saw 0-0 and I was like, I'm not even
Pickford
bothering.
pulled off a couple saves. That because to be fair, Ings had 2 chances
when he came on.
and Pickford. That's why Pickford's England number 1. Do you know what I mean?
Circumstance.
Anyway, I'm not even going to talk about West Ham team because certain man is still
He's still
starting.
better. He's better than the Tottenham goalkeeper.
True.
True.
And then Wolves beat Southampton 2-0. Again, a game I would expect them to win. Cunha with an assist and a goal.
Very good goal.
Really good goal.
Good player, man.
Pablo Sarabia scored in the first 2 minutes. Great ball from Cunha actually to
Yeah,
Sarabia.
man.
And then Mario Lemina assisting Cunha. So yeah, Wolves have found that's a game they should have won. And I think O'Neill was under a bit of pressure. They're still in the bottom 3, but again, 6 points from their first 11 games. But the table's so
Their
condensed.
run of fixtures was pretty
was
harsh, and they've now got a run where it's like
Teams
they're-
around them, innit?
teams around them, and I think we'll see them. I think
Climb up.
they're now going to 3-5-2. So
Mm.
before they used to do the full like kind of 3-4-3, and then
Yeah.
they got rid of Neto. Now Cunha's almost like their 10 with Strand Larson up there. So I think it will settle in the next five or so games they'll do a lot better.
So yeah, I think so yeah, I know I say it every week, but really a really eventful weekend in the Premiership. Just a very, very quick one. Obviously, we've had a round of European games this week. And Arsenal went away and lost to Inter Milan, etc. You know these things fans do, right? You know, when their team is not particularly playing well or things are not going for them, they start to blame other stuff.
Yeah.
So apparently the Champions League format is the issue now. Not our performance, not the 30-something shots and how many of them weren't on target. It's the format. But to be fair, I do think fans are still a little bit baffled about the format here and there. I think it's produced more even games, better games,
Yeah.
rather than someone going to
formality.
to nowhere and slapping them 7-0 or whatever. But just a couple of things.
I was saying there are the teams near the bottom. There's a couple poor teams.
Yeah.
But on the main,
it's got a bit better.
I think so.
So I think there's a couple of things people are having a bit of a cultural shock when it comes to the Champions League. Number one, the large league table. I'm not gonna lie, that league table looks mad. How many teams are in it? 30-something teams.
36.
Yeah, so none of us have ever grown up with a league table that's 36
like
teams.
fantasy manager.
Yeah, literally. It's like looking at your FPL app. And I guess the other thing people are not used to is that whilst it's a league table, it's not operating like a typical league, right?
No.
So you're not playing everybody home and away and all that kind of stuff. So I know we did a bit of an explainer early on in the season, Keith, but I guess two main questions I see coming up in groups when people talk about it, etc., and on kind of online is one, how do they pick who plays who? And two, where did the groups and the pots come into things? Because my overall thing is, guys, whatever happens, this is just a way to filter out who's going to play the knockout stages. This is ultimately a knockout competition. Do you know what I mean? So however you're seeing the league table or whatever, just forget the league table as it was. Because we had small league tables before, right? In your group, there was a league table. When you had points and we had wins, and ever since they scrapped the away goals rule as well, for me, all the small Champions League groups just became like normal, just mini leagues. So how did they select the fixtures, and where did the pots and all that stuff come into the wider league?
The pots are basically your ranking within Europe. So if you're in pot 1, you're a higher ranked team than in pot 2, higher than 3,
Okay,
3
fine.
higher than 4. So the better team you are, the better pot you're in. And then there's 9 teams in each pot, and basically you get drawn against 2 teams from each pot, and you'll play from pot 1. You'll play 1 team at home, 1 team away. Same with pot 2, pot 3, pot 4. So you're not playing every team. You're just playing.
So the fixtures were drawn at random, and the structure was just across the pots.
That's
So even in your own pot, you'll get drawn against 2 teams.
Yeah. So you'll play 2 good teams. 2 mediocre teams, 2 lesser teams.
Yeah.
Two
You get the
level
full
1,
spectrum.
2 level
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Rather than
level
what we had
3.
before, where you
Two
basically had
level 4
one
teams.
super seed team in the group,
Yeah.
one a
Okay.
good team, and then 2 mad teams. And then maybe if a club's been underperforming for a while, once in a while you'd get that group of death kind of
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the way it's worked out is that within each game week, you've had 2 big teams playing against each other, and the games being
Earlier as well.
Yeah.
You normally have to wait to knock out for those that level of team to play each other.
Fairly good. And then obviously, and then if you finish in the top 8,
Yep.
you go straight through to the last 16.
Yep.
If you finish in the middle 16,
Yep.
those 16 teams play each other in a 2-legged playoff
Nice.
to qualify for the last 16.
So it's effectively, when we used to have the groups here, and on the last group stage, there was still teams where it hadn't been decided.
Yeah.
So for me, in the last few years, that's been the match day. It's normally about now or early December, where
Early December.
early December,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
last match
December.
day where there's a few groups,
Yeah.
especially them group of deaths where it hasn't been decided. So it's just the games are proper knockout vibes. Yeah. But that's what that middle 16 does basically.
And then if you finish first, you're seeded 1 for the draw. So you'll get like
so there's no historical
smaller team.
coefficient and all that. It's just
No,
how you
no.
finish the table.
And
Okay.
the bit of jeopardy with the Champions League as well, because this group stage rolls over until January. So a lot of teams have like winter breaks. They don't play over Christmas, etc. So they might have like 2-3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Mm.
Got a week back, and then they got to play a Champions League game.
Yeah.
So that's got to be
And
taken.
there's no chop off into the Europa League this time as well.
No, if you don't finish in that top
16.
30, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Top 28.
Yeah. Top
the
24.
24, sorry.
Yeah.
Out of Europe completely. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah, and like I think the conversation is about we're halfway through. How does it go? I quite like it, innit? Like showing my age, I've seen the Champions League format change from just winners of your league straight knockout to there being 2 group stages in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So this isn't the first change of a Champions League format, innit? And I think people always are resistant to change until change has been there for a while and then it becomes the norm.
But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a selfish fan. I still remember I used to hate the gaps between Champions League stages. When it was just the team that won it or the first 2 teams, it just felt like I had to wait ages. And even between the legs, it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it will finish in November and it's not back till February and all these rubbish. I used to hate that because I wanted to hear the music. You want to watch the game on a Tuesday, Wednesday night. Has it gone a little bit too far? maybe, but I'm never. And this is why I think that the Super League, as much as people bleat, they will always work. Because as a fan, you always want to see the top teams play each other.
But this
Always.
is like their version of the Super
This
League.
is Super League by the back door.
This is literally just them working out. Okay, if we were to do it, this is exactly what the idea would be.
100%.
I think one of the best things about it is to Keith's point. We've had some great fixtures.
Already.
Everything that Bayern Munich Barcelona game was crazy, and then even this week, like Real Madrid, AC was a good game. Like there's so many things that have happened. Like big teams are playing each other, and before it used to be like, oh, there used to be like 1 or 2 good games. And it's not. The one thing I would say about it, which I think is really interesting as well, is even like a team like say Celtic. Before you knew if they didn't win that first home game, they were done. They were done. And now in this kind of format, they're playing teams that are around them, that could be slightly below them. They could win 3 or 4 games and be in the mix. And then if they get the right draw. So what I think it actually does is, as much as it kind of probably you'll still see the cream rise to the top. I know like for instance, PSG aren't even in the top 24 at the moment, which is crazy. I think what it does do is it does allow the other teams who are like more middling teams to actually have a competitive season and not have everything kind of wrapped up after that kind of game week 3.
Yeah. Agreed. And then also what happens with some of those things, to your point, is them financially, right? So it's really bad for their league. But, you know, if a Celtic gets to that knockout stage every year and it's a little bit more even, you know, they don't have to run through walls every year to do it. Financially, it's a bit better.
Even then, it's 8 games now rather than 6. So if you get knocked out of the group and you finish 4th, you're done. So that's 8 games minimum. Then you add in the other 2 if you make it to 24. 4 more games makes such a huge difference.
As at Champions League money level,
and even I'm looking at it like there's certain teams that we never think like. So the top 8 is what Liverpool, Sporting, Monaco, Brest, Inter Milan, Barcelona, Dortmund, Aston Villa.
So look at Brest, right?
Yeah.
Now
Crazy.
they had a really great season last season in the French league. Is a bit of a unicorn season. They're not doing that well at the moment. They're 10th, I think, now. But again, the money from this, that might actually help them to solidify that and maybe become a bit more of a regular Europa League team, if anything, or whatever else. Right?
But also, the ordering in the game is crazy because like you can like start at Barcelona, then play Bayern Munich, and in between, it's all the teams who are in your pot or around you. Whereas before, it'd normally be like, oh, I've got to go to Bayern Munich. I've got to go, like, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to lose 4 games.
Yeah.
And if I'm lucky, I might scrape a little win in one of them. So,
and I might be able to hold them at home if they come. Yeah. So it does, to your point, it takes away the routine almost and of it.
Yeah.
So,
And it always kind of like one-off cup games, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we can go there, give it our best, and like no one expected Milan to go to.
Yeah.
Not saying that Milan was a small team,
no,
but based
win.
on form, no one expected Milan to go
they've
to.
not been the team they used to be.
Yeah.
And they lost their first 2 as well. They lost their first 2
Yeah.
games
Yeah.
and they've struggled. So I think it's been good. I actually think it's probably one of the positive changes. The only thing that I'm a bit worried about is kind of the algorithmic version of how they done the draw. It's not even like they kind of like was pulled out. It was like, oh, the computer just said, here we go. That's the bit that
I think only a couple of them were pulled out, right?
But I think it's too complicated to be done manually.
Too many.
Which is
So it's not like FA Cup was just this tie and that tie. And it's the same with the league, right? The computer does the league fixtures and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
It's true. But it's just, I don't know, maybe that first year, that kind of felt a little bit weird.
And there's loads of rules you've got to put in. This person can't play. This person, there's going to be logistical rules as well. All that stuff.
So it does make sense for it to kind of happen.
Because even look at the league, like, what is it? Liverpool and Everton can't play in the same
weekend.
Same weekend.
Yeah.
You plug all those rules, City and United, you plug all those rules into the
But then
fixture
even like in
calculator.
London, what they'll do is, for instance, they won't put like 2 teams in West London playing if they can't. Obviously, like you have like Chelsea, Fulham, Brentford.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, okay, cool. What's the most like viable
Fulham or West
time?
Ham can play.
Or they play Sunday. And if you notice, there's a lot of games like, oh, why are they playing at 12:30? Or why is this team always playing at 5:30? Because they need to clear the area to move the police across to another area as well. So it's very much understandable.
But yeah, look, I think the Champions League is working. In my opinion, I think it's good. And whilst it's the Super League by proxy, it's probably better it happened this way than what they were planning to do. Right? All right, guys, that's it from us this week. As always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Ash, it's been a pleasure having you back.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Thanks, buddy. You'll be back again. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.